What in the butt? What in the butt? What? Tai pe stream, mă, boys, nu apar subscriberii. Nu apar subscriberii cum trebuie. Dar nu-i nimic, boys. I have the idea. Înainte să ziceți salut. Salut. Ba da. Ce ba da? Cică, ba da. Bine. Ba da să fie. Bă, uite-mă, așa. Deci ăsta e degeaba. Ceea ce înseamnă că îl ștergem. Bun, superb. Și acum adăugăm noi un new top and last și să se numească subscriberi. N-ați-o pe asta, prietene. Și o să punem așa ultimile 7 zile. Și o să punem contentul să fie subscriberii. Bosicu. Subscriberii. Și o să trească să fie același fucking font. Cum este. Bine, salut eu, da, Ionuț, da, este. Stai așa, calmează-ți sânii. Deci ăsta trebuie să fie aici. Așa, și ăsta trebuie să fie așa ceva de genul. Și ăsta trebuie să fie așa ceva de genul. Și ăsta trebuie să fie așa ceva de genul. Bun, și acum simulare, facem simulare.
Fumezi indica și nu e indicat să revin la ce am fost, trebuie să rămân schimbat.
Ba, ești tu nebun, am pus subscriber, trebuia să pun follower, n-ați-o pe asta. Ești prost. Așa, și acum am dat save și acum o să apară. O să apară pe dracu să mă ia. Că nu o să apară, că n-am dat save. Shhh, boys. Băi, eu mor. Fuck off. Ce facem aici? De ce am intrat pe contul ăsta? De ce am intrat pe contul de level 107? Sunt retardat, da. Sunt retardat, boys. Bun, și acum trebuie să fie fontul... Ce font trebuie să fie? Electrolyze cu... Ăsta și cu verde. Electrolyze, bun. Țineți minte, electrolize. Și o să fie font. Electrolyze cu ăsta și verdele la șmecher. Mă rog, oarecum. Bun, culorile nu sunt la fel, dar lasă că le facem acum. Deci layout. Asta e culoarea bosic. O luăm, o băgăm aici. Bam, dăm save. Hai să vedem, s-a salvat? Yep, s-a salvat. Și acum mergem frumos aici și dăm un refresh cache. Și fii atent cum o să apară. Ei, e boys. Apare bine. What in the butt? Salutare, Ionel, ce faci, man? Ionică, Ionuț, eu, mama. Nu o să intru pe Hunter-ul de 107 de la Hoardă pentru că vreau să joc alianță. Na, bun. Faza e că îmi trebuie un pet. Pam. Uite, aștept plecare în afară. Te duci în Spania la cules? Hai mă, mai stați și voi în țară, dracu. Ce? Una, două, toată lumea pleacă în Spania. Băgați-i pârlă. Săracul Dragnea, săracul. Nu, mă duc în Danemarca. Eram pe aproape. Păi și în Danemarca ce culegi? Droguri? Bă, Ionele, ce pot să zic, frate? Mult noroc și spor la treabă. Ce dracu zic ăștia, mă? Bă, ăștia sunt sunt anti orice ăștia, n-au nicio treabă, ești nebun. Măta e în spatele manifestațiilor. Măta e. Încerci să îți creezi un viitor. E bine că nu încerci să-ți creezi un viitor, că pe urmă era un pic mai complicat, dacă știi ce zic. Așa, dacă îți creezi e ok, man. E blană, ești nebun. Da. Hai să fără muzică la joc, că n-am chef. Să se documenteze despre ce, bosic? Și că i-aș ruga pe cei din piață să se documenteze mult mai bine. Hai mă, lasă-mă să plec de aici. Urăsc să ies pe aici din... Da, mă, ce zic băieții ăștia, că mi se pare foarte interesant. Trebuie să ne documentăm mai bine, mă, boys.
Era cazul să existe lămuriri suplimentare în legătură de cine e sau ar fi în spatele acestor proteste?
Măta e în spatele protestelor. Asumate de Măta. A zis Măta și a zis eu am pus oamenii să protesteze.
E clar că aceste proteste despre care vorbim au fost unele spontane, generate de nemulțumirea oamenilor în legătură cu modificările din domeniul fiscal și modificările pe legile justiției.
Nemulțumirea lui Măta.
Și am văzut asta și la începutul anului, în ianuarie, când au fost protestele legate de acele celebre ordonanțe.
Celebrele ordonanțe, boys.
Probabil că s-a făcut prin intermediul rețelelor de socializare, dar nu este nimic anormal ca lucrurile să se petreacă într-un astfel de mod, pentru că, în general, oamenii reacționează foarte bine la mesajele de pe rețelele de socializare.
Așa.
Și este o formă prin care ei se informează cu privire la anumite lucruri și dacă simt sau se identifică cu cauza respectivă, în mod voluntar optează sau nu să iasă sau nu la anumite proteste.
Așa, da.
Cred că să dăm un iz politic la astfel de manifestații în care oamenii, într-un mod extrem de pașnic, și-au manifestat supărările față de actuala guvernare.
Vai, da, ce supărați suntem, băi, boys.
L-am văzut și pe domnul Iordache puțin mai devreme, spunând că oamenii trebuie să se informeze.
Oamenii trebuie să, da, într-adevăr, da. Asta e o problemă. Foarte mulți, băi. I-a avut mulți oameni informați, mă, boys.
absolut liber și foarte interesați de subiectul acelor ordonanțe. Sunt convinsă că și acum, când au ieșit pe aceeași temă legată de justiție, sunt oameni care au citit, pe de o parte, propunerile existente, au văzut în spațiu public și declarațiile politice ale celor care susțin sau nu susțin un anumit amendament. Deci nu cred că trebuie să-i acuzăm pe oameni nici de
Deci nu cred, dar tu cine ești, mă, fată?
Cred că cei care au ieșit știu exact motivul pentru care s-au aflat acolo.
Mă, cine e asta, mă? Că n-am mai văzut-o până acum și ieri erau 10.000 de protestatari, azi sunt 30.000 ieri, cum ar veni. Ce problemă se aude? Mă uit eu la știri, că vreau să știu de ce au ieșit oamenii în stradă și eu am stat acasă ca animalul.
Oamenii să iasă fie pe un subiect, fie pe altul. Sunt liderii USR și PNL care au îndemnat la astfel de manifestări, deci e departe de a fi un lucru
în perioada
spontan.
moțiunii de cenzură.
Departe de a fi ceva spontan.
Și
da, nu putem contesta, este dreptul cetățenilor, este dreptul tuturor
de spontan tot de politicieni
Așa,
a fost lipită la un moment dat, pentru că oamenii care s-au strâns acolo n-au scris pe lozin că am ieșit spontan sau am ieșit chemați de BNS sau de cartel Alfa sau de cine știe ce ONG din lista aia lungă.
Spontan cu niște pancarde deja făcute spontan. Da, corect, este dreptul cetățenilor de a...
Adică, stai, mă, cum adică pancarde făcute spontan? Dar ție cât pizda, mă, tiția, să scoți un carton la imprimantă, mă?
Spontan organizat, au făcut-o tot politicienii.
Futu-te în gură de cretin. Mă, boys, voi am, să scoateți un carton la imprimantă, mă.
Câtă vreme n-a pretins nimeni că ar fi spontan sau...
Da, bine, aici ar trebui să vedem și cu legea care permite astfel de manifestări, care dacă sunt spontane au o anumită reglementare, dacă sunt organizate trebuie asumate și atunci trebuie îndepliniți niște pași. Deci
Da. Și Revoluția când a fost și-au cerut scuze înainte, s-au dus la primărie, au cerut voie. Și la Revoluție au făcut la fel și au cerut voie înainte să iasă pe stradă, mă, boys.
Și de organizațiile neguvernamentale? Adică nu ajunge că se numără printre...
Din câte am văzut, participarea organizațiilor sindicale nu a fost chiar cea scontată. Dacă lămuririle au fost, înțelegem nevoia de manifestare a cetățenilor, noi suntem într-un permanent dialog și chiar...
Dialog cu cine? Cu măta?
Categoriile sociale atunci când au fost probleme.
Să vedem și declarația de care vorbeam a premierului Mihai Tudose.
Ești într-un dialog continuu cu măta.
Ceea ce privește mesajul care ține de guvern cu fiscalitatea, eu n-am auzit foarte multe proteste pe această zonă. Au fost niște exacerbări la niște lideri care s-au lipit de alt meeting, dar am ținut cont și din discuțiile cu mediul de afaceri, anumite lucruri pe codul fiscal se vor modifica prin amendamente parlamentare.
Am înțeles, deci vor să modifice ceva. Normal, deci ar lăsa ceva cum e. De acolo a început toată problema, de fapt, că s-au trezit ei peste noapte că vor să mute taxele invers, cu sus în jos.
Spre ce direcție se va duce, după părerea
de ce nu? Adică, na.
Mihai Tudose spune că după întâlnirea cu mediul de afaceri pare să fie dispus la unele concesii.
Așa cum am spus de fiecare dată, Partidul Social Democrat, alianța aflată la guvernare și guvernul, sunt deschiși la dialog. Noi știm că lucrurile sunt perfectibile, nu sunt perfecte.
Perfectibil.
Majoritatea celor care și-au manifestat mulțumirea de-a lungul timpului, există majoritatea aceea mută care nu iese să spună lucrurile în piață, dar care s-a prezentat la vot, a venit într-un număr covârșitor, a validat programul de guvernare al Partidului Social Democrat și acei oameni așteaptă ca noi să le îndeplinim promisiunile.
Bun, dacă premierul face distinția asta, pe mine, guvern, nu mă afectează sau nu mă vizează aceste proteste, pentru că am mai strecurat și o mențiune legată de legile justiției, doamna Schelean, că e treaba Parlamentului, el nu se simte vizat în niciun fel. Ministerul Justiției, Guvernul nu au nicio treabă cu acest pachet.
E treaba Parlamentului pentru că domnul ministru al Justiției, Tudorel Toader, a venit în acea comisie specială, fac parte din comisie, și ne-a pus pe masă un proiect, servit, să zic așa, un proiect care este un proiect al Guvernului. Domnul niciodată n-a venit în acea comisie specială să spună este un proiect al meu personal sau un proiect al Ministerului. Este un proiect de lege asumat de guvern. Deci,
e irelevant.
Proiectul de lege lege a primit semnăturile unor parlamentari de la PSD și alte, deci nu mai e al guvernului sau al domnului Toate.
Este într-adevăr așa că a primit semnături din partea parlamentarilor, la fel cum sunt și amendamente susținute de către parlamentari ai PSD, însă proiectul în sine a plecat în dezbatere și a fost investită comisia aceasta pentru că proiectul a plecat de la Ministerul Justiției. Pentru că acest proiect a venit în comisie, a trebuit să modificăm inclusiv hotărârea plenului comun cu privire la competențele comisiei speciale. Pentru că așa cum trecuse prima dată, nici măcar n-am avut competența să ne pronunțăm pe legile de organizare ale justiției, ci doar pe codurile civil, respectiv procedură civilă, penal, procedură penală. Deci, domnia sa, domnul premier, trebuie să înțeleagă că dacă oamenii sunt în stradă pentru că sunt nemulțumiți de modul în care au fost îndeplinite aceste promisiuni pe care le-au validat în campania electorală, pentru că sunt multe lucruri pe care le-au promis în campanie, nu le-au făcut.
Da, bine, hai că am înțeles, da, m-ați plictisit incredibil de rău. Și o să vină ianuarie și o să vedem atunci ce o să se întâmple. Chiar o să vedem ce o să se întâmple. Ia zi, Ionel, care-i faza? Level 96. Mi-e dor de TGS Podcast, sincer, cred că mă apuc să ascult TGS Podcast. Dar nu mai se numește așa, co-optional, parcă TGS nu mai există de vreo 3 ani. Ok. Never mind, boys. Hai să ascultăm și noi ceva. Episodul 196, ok, whatever. Why the fuck not, boys?
To get you some water, something like that. So yeah, right.
Maybe take her out to go pee. You know, let her pee
Give her a
outside.
little walk.
Yeah.
See if she's got her shots.
You see what this?
You just want to take care of me. You don't necessarily like feel affectionate toward me. You just want to make sure I don't die.
Yeah, make sure you don't. You know, this isn't your last day.
I'm not going to be harmful to myself.
Now you see what this actually is a simulation of what will happen if net neutrality is repealed. That camera quality.
This has all been a big goof to make you think about the world.
Absolutely. Or more specifically, net neutrality, which the FCC is currently trying to kill again for some reason. Some reason that I can't imagine what that reason would be. Like, it's not a sack of gold bars by any chance, is it? No, it couldn't possibly be. They're a totally independent organization. Whatever the case, you should probably be paying attention if you're not already, because net neutrality is kind of important. Head to battleforthenet.com. That's battleforthenet.com to find out why, if you somehow already don't know. We've talked about it a million times, and how you can help.
How we can help with net neutrality sau ce?
If that all gets repealed, you think Twitch viewing
Blue
is better than
Essence,
laggy
îmi
now?
zici mie dacă știi. Păi
Oh
ce
my.
să zic, man?
TB,
Yes.
since you have a lot of knowledge on this subject,
Bits
every
and
time we
pieces.
talk about it, people say if I don't live in the U.S., there's not really anything I can do or any point in me paying attention. Do you agree?
I do not agree. Certainly not. For one thing, you should be keeping an eye on net neutrality in your own country, because there are some countries that don't have net neutrality, and it's pretty bad, as it turns out, because the nightmare scenario that we expected,
Pe Facebook, hai că mă uit acum.
internet service providers chop up the internet into pieces and try and sell it to you on the basis of, oh, you want to use Facebook here? Well, it's $5 there. You want to use this? Oh, you don't going to pay for that? Right, well, we're just going to throttle it to the point of being completely useless. Because that already exists in some countries.
Păi,
So you might
trimitem.
wanna maybe keep an eye out for that, and of course, passing it around and raising awareness never hurts.
Nu trebuie să
And
fură
of
așa
course,
mult.
you're in
Nu,
the
n-ai
US,
furat mult la
contact your congressman and
ai
senator.
30 de asisturi.
Can I ask a question?
As that.
Like a legit, real question.
You can
That
try.
it's been on my mind all day. All right, as we know, because I don't think we're under any illusions here. Politicians are I guess our political system is run by lobbyists,
Hoopers?
influencers,
A bunch of normies.
people who
Bunch of normies.
we are literally classified as influencers. So where's the YouTube lobby? Where's the lobby of like Twitch and streamers that goes and has someone approach the government and be like, we would like you not to do this. Here's money. I'm just saying.
It would be a good thing to get to get that kind of thing together, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, hey, maybe even get a super PAC together, that sort of thing. But
yeah, like I know in a perfect world, it's like, well, if we just shout our voices loud enough, we'll change things. But this shit's gonna keep happening every few cycles, because once it dies down again, they're like, all right, well, no one cares now, and we can keep doing this. If there was someone there, if there was a lobby that represented like us, and we all just like put dues into it to get them to stop this shit, things would change. Welcome to government.
Mă trezesc dimineața, trag făină și eu, de multe ori.
To put something like that together, does it just need for there to be more millionaire streamers and YouTubers?
I mean, it needs Google, it needs Amazon, it needs big tech giants behind it and lobbying as a group. That's really the only way you can do it. I mean, you can't. You can get.
Poți să întreb ceva de la Blue Essence, îmi zici dacă știi ce să zic, man.
Influencers is you can make a hell of a lot of noise, and yes, it does work. The main problem is at the moment, really,
Shit, sună telefonul.
the FCC is dealing with this when really it should be Congress and the Senate. Congress and the Senate.
Salut, Emi, stai puțin că mă sună tata. Da, tata? Bine, stream, tu ce faci?
The FCC, well, we tried that, if you recall correctly. Indeed, they will not. They had a public comment time, of which, of course, resulted in millions and millions of people saying, "I quit this shit."
They did it anyway.
And then they were like, but what if
Adică ce să fac?
Yeah, but they made excuses.
We asked you guys your opinion, but like, what about our opinion now?
Yeah, we had a bunch of bots. You know, there was the issue.
Bine, când vii acasă.
During the public comment
Da.
time, a huge number of bots essentially flooded the server.
Nu, dar nu știu cum vrei să ți le pun.
Like they were using dead people's names.
Păi contează.
It was ridiculous.
I got some of those today. I posted a thing that was like about net neutrality, and some of the comments.
Da, mă, tata, când vii acasă.
Hashtag no net neutrality, and then when you look
Păi
at
da.
people, it was literally like freshly created accounts, literally just to spam.
Nu.
Yeah, Russian
like,
bots.
we don't like it.
Te aștept.
Like what? Who doesn't like it?
Bine.
There should literally be
Papa.
no one
that
against
isn't a telecom company. Yeah.
Ce faci? Faci stream? S-au obișnuit cu chestia asta, ce faci? Stream? Da. S-au obișnuit, nu le convine, da. S-au obișnuit, da. E încă puțin weird pentru ei conceptul de a face stream.
There's no benefit to consumers at all if net neutrality goes away. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's bad for literally everybody who doesn't own an ISP.
Asta cu neutralitatea pe internet e un subiect foarte avansat în care e ca și cum ai vorbit despre politică sau despre religie. Oarecum, știi, toată lumea are câte o părere.
Oh, sorry.
Am apărut și eu dacă tot e vorba de WoW.
A lot of people don't actually understand that net neutrality is what we want. A lot of people sometimes think it's like net neutrality. We don't want that, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, there was a deliberate attempt.
Not in America.
Quite a while ago.
Neutralitate nu în America.
Actually, I've read some of the stock replies that have come from, say, senators and congressmen that have been written to, where they're either deliberately trying to also obfuscate the issue by flipping it around and saying net neutrality is actually the bad thing. I mean, if I recall correctly, Comcast...
Păi și ce se întâmplă acolo? Sunt niște copii de vreo 12-13 ani și se uită la mine. Vezi că ai să râzi, prietene, dar nu chiar toți au 12-13 ani.
Reality of it is that yes, you need regulations to prevent these companies from carving up the internet and suppressing anything they don't like. I mean, think about it logically. you have a bunch of video streaming sites and say Time Warner, now Spectrum, or indeed AT&T. It's like, hey, we have our own video streaming site. We're going to give priority bandwidth to that, and we're going to throttle the shit out of anything that competes with it. Oh, you want to use that site? Oh, you got to pay for that.
Cum faci bani pentru campioni? Te joci și faci level și primești un primești o capsulă când faci level și îți pică sharduri. Și shardurile alea ori le dai disenchant, ori le folosești pentru Blue Essence și îți deblochezi campioni.
Which is why they've tried to classify it as a utility to make sure that they have to be neutral about it. You don't get to dictate what you use your water for, your electricity for, your gas for. But
mă uit la Lost.
Apparently with the internet they want to try and do that, which
la Lost
is why net neutrality is so important. And it sucks.
God damn it.
God's sake, you know, I made a video years ago about this.
E de căcat, mă las de LOL, te aștept pe freakz la WoW. Dar nu mai înscrie pe Facebook, te rog.
Unfortunately, you've got to do something about it. You can't just sit around. You know, they're going to keep trying this. It has to be resisted.
A great way to imagine this, and I know Dodger can relate to this.
Caut o pasăre mare. Ați văzut o pasăre mare?
Think of the freeways and highways in LA.
Ce se aude? Este The Co-optional Podcast.
Now there's like a lane where you have to, there's the HOV lane, and there's a lane of this, and there's a lane of this, and there's a lane of
fast track lane that you have to pay for.
And it was it's like, oh, well, it's gonna make everything better, and it's gonna like smooth out speed for everyone. No, if anything, it has made traffic way worse. It is infinitely harder to get around, and it's the scam of like, we're trying to help you guys. Please.
Uite-l.
We know what we're doing, and all it's just about making money.
Uite pasărea.
And nothing gets. It's not. They're not doing anything except putting pockets of like.
Dau puțin damage,
for example.
Salut, Dani.
Spoiler: if you think that you're going to be okay with Verizon in this deal, you're going to be less on YouTube and more on Go90 in the future.
Yeah.
The Verizon service, right?
Yeah, because
they
own
all
that.
have their interests.
These guys own that sort of stuff, so why would they not deliberately manipulate their service if they were allowed to do it? The only reason they're not doing it right now is because they're not allowed to. It's because there's a punishment. If that goes away, yes, absolutely, the internet will be a complete bloody mess.
So, I keep wondering, because the community of my hometown, they own their own ISP. They like decided a long time ago, like, we want a community-owned internet service. So they have.
Să fac și eu până fac eu level și doar un meci pe zi, da, asta e cam nașpa, dude.
Their internet is faster here in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Because like the community owns it and they decide like what's best for the people who are actually there and using it, right?
Armă mai bună.
I remind these telecom companies are lobbying against the ability to do that, and there's actually there was at least one state or town, I believe, where that worked. And it's like, no, we're going to put into a law that you can't start an ISP. Like, right, so you're telling me you can't even start a thing to compete with the other things. So the free market is non-existent. This is a monopoly situation.
Communism.
Yeah, so I keep wondering if with net neutrality continuing to be such like a hot button issue, if more and more like smaller communities will start to say like, what if we just
încărcătorul de la laptop stricat și face figură și ți se închide după meci sau ce?
By any stretch, it might have to happen, and this wouldn't be as big an issue if America in particular had more competition amongst ISPs. But in reality, in many places that can't happen. You have one effective choice, because these places basically own everything. They own all the lines, and anyone that attempts to come in, they will stop by any means necessary. Not great. Not ideal.
Monopolies are bad.
Yes.
Nu se închide după meci, dar ce se face?
Well, yeah. Sorry to start the show like that, but reality is it affects everything, including your ability to watch the show, your ability to watch things on YouTube, your ability to play games. You want your games being laggier? Well, it could very well happen. There's no reason whatsoever for them not to mess with that and say, oh, you want a premium gaming service, do you? That'll be an extra $20 a month.
Right.
Yeah,
look,
it was
Time
Nebraska.
Warner already
banned
throttle
cities.
services, and they're like, oh yeah, no.
Oh yeah, they got caught doing that. Yeah.
Speed. They throttle it at night, from about 5 to about 8 p.m. You can go look yourself. They like lower it the speeds. They do it.
La ce seriale te mai uiți? Nu prea mă uit la seriale de...
Oh, we won't do it. What are you kidding me? There's no reason to trust any of you. You constantly pull this shit. No, absolutely not. Yeah, unfortunately it is important. It affects all of us, and the best site that I've found, at least, that has the most information, the best ways to help, is battleforthenet.com. So
all the information's there.
Yeah,
There's so
pretty
much
much.
out there to help.
Yeah.
So feel free, head on over there, and if you don't know anything about it, you will after you've been there, and you can find out who to contact. And yeah, contacting people, it does work. You know, this stuff needs to be in the hands of the Senate. You know, people that can actually be influenced by a bunch of their constituents.
Care a fost ultimul? Ultimul a fost... Pe lângă Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones se pune. Ultimul pe care l-am văzut, care n-a fost Game of Thrones, a fost Breaking Bad. L-am terminat cu Teo.
It's on the website itself. You text resist to that, and it took me literally less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just to send them like a fax to my center. And it was,
There are also people that work as like secretaries and like help attendants for senators and congressmen who have been putting together scripts for people that are basically like, if you call us, this is the information we're looking for.
Goț a anulat ultimul sezon? Da, bine, nu.
You know, give us like 2 sentences on whether or not you agree or disagree.
I think that's impossible, dude.
Like that's literally like it's so.
Well, bear in mind, calling most of them, you're going to be hitting an answering machine anyway, so you don't have to even call to a real person.
So.
Also, more importantly, when you go to these sites, look up who your specific senator and your specific congressman is, or congresswoman for your area. Focus on them. Don't try to hit everyone. Don't try to spam everyone, because if you're not in their congressional district, if you are not one of their constituents, they will flat out ignore you, because
of course,
you don't matter to them.
No.
Focus on your person, and that's how you can greatly affect change. So don't try to hit everyone. Literally target the 1 or 2 people that relate specifically to you, and that's how you can really help.
Yep, pretty much.
If you don't know who yours is, actually, if you text that number, it'll literally ask you for your address. It'll tell you who your guys are right then.
There's a ton of resources out there to find out, so feel free. Well, that's that. Like I say, they will be voting on that next week. There's always, you know, if it does go badly, there is always the hope that Congress or the Senate will intervene if enough pressure is then applied. So just be ready. There's more to come on this nonsense, as much as we would hope that there wouldn't be and we could finally relax on this stuff. We can't. One has to be vigilant about such things. Welcome to the Corruptional Podcast. We do occasionally talk about video games. Our special guest today, back, I believe the last time we saw you was in April, Mr. Chaotic Monkey, if that is your real name.
Chaotic Monkey. Wow. Wow.
But yeah, it's been a hot minute. What up, dude?
Yep, it's been a wee while. I've seen you streaming quite a lot, though. I've seen you streaming a game that I'd actually like to hear a lot about. So why don't we start the show about Battle Right, which has it's made its way out of early access. It's been early access probably for almost the last year. I played a good amount of it in early access, and you've been streaming there.
Battle Right.
So tell me about Battle Right. What is Battle Right? Why is Battle Right? Why are you spending so much time playing Battle Right?
Alright, well, first off, this is a non-sponsored opinion because my sponsorship's already over. I'm not getting paid shit to say this. But, Battle Right, it's a game where you ever heard of a MOBA?
What?
Well, this is
what is this MOBA you speak of?
It sounds crazy.
MOBA?
A multiplayer online battle arena.
Oh, slow down there, point.
Yeah, I know. What are you saying? Multiplayer, which is one of the things you can do with net neutrality, by the way.
Oh,
online.
Okay.
Battle arena.
I'm not a fan of violence.
MOBA.
Okay, well, this is not for you. Close your ears.
Yes.
It's gonna be fun.
Închideți urechile.
Okay, good deal. So, pretty much, Battlerite seems like to be the only actual MOBA out there, because all the other MOBAs, you know, they have like creep lanes and all that other stuff, like items and stuff like that. This one is actually a multiplayer. It's online. You're battling in an actual arena.
And it's in an arena. Yes.
Yes, it's an actual MOBA.
Yeah, it's the only one that really fits the actual made-up definition. And immediately, like, if you need another analog for it, a good way to describe it is, you remember WoW PvP, WoW Arena?
Yeah.
Well, how about that from a kind of top-down perspective, with a sort of limited skill set, and then you fight in, I think it's 2v2 and 3v3. Is there a 5v5?
There is only 2v2, 3v3.
Yeah.
There is also actually a new mode they put out, which if you ever played
Sună interesant jocul ăsta, dude.
similar to that, where you have like two big guys to fight each other.
Right.
Every once in a while you get a chance to go in there and fight them. And you level up actually in that mode too, which is really interesting because they have an actual leveling, you know, tiering system and stuff like that.
Yeah, the way
really
the progression works in that game is kind of interesting because it's just in the match. Like, you know, similar to something like Dota or League. You play these rounds in this gladiatorial arena fight, and it's best of 5, if I recall correctly. And every time a round happens, you get to pick a loadout card.
Wait, they changed that.
They changed it?
They
Ooh,
did.
It's been a while.
You start
Tell
with
me.
all of them now.
You start with all of them?
You start with every single one, because some characters were a bit stronger in that regard than others.
Okay.
So some have like power creeps more so.
Right.
So now you start with every single one right off the bat, and you have different loadouts. So you can load them if you want.
Okay, so you still get the choice. It's just you have
still
access
get the choice.
to all of them at any
all
time.
at the very beginning of the game.
Right. Yeah, I did notice that. Like, there were definitely heroes that, if they lasted to round 5, ended up being way stronger than they were previous, because it just happened that their like round 5 ability choice was really good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And some characters kind of weren't. The interesting thing about this game is that everything is manually aimed. Everything is a so-called skill shot. There's no auto-locking, and there's also no RNG either. Everything does a set amount of predictable damage.
Right.
Oh, and there is actually, also, if this sounds enticing to you, there is another new character coming out this week, I believe.
Really?
Already, they're like immediately already putting out new content as it just comes out in free-to-play.
Yeah.
So they're not like shoving it out and then waiting months to put out new stuff. They actually are making sure they have stuff for the foreseeable future, which is really interesting.
So the free-to-play model in it, so I assume it's like a champion rotation, and then you can permanently unlock characters. There is also if you pay $30, which is basically just buying the game, you get all the characters forever, which is a good model. Like, that's what Smite did. That was a really good way to do things. That's what I fucking wish League of Legends would do, because unlocking all of the characters in that is nightmarish and takes forever. But yeah, you could just buy the game as a $30 game and get access to all of the champions. To be fair, you probably only be playing a couple, because while they do have, you know, just a limited set of skills, there's a lot to master there. There's a lot of complexity to each character.
You get all of them, and you also get all the new ones too. It's not just the current ones.
Yeah, you get them forever.
Yes, every single thing. And then there's like, it's in case you're curious, you know, a lot of MOBAs, you know, they're you know, click to move. This is a WASD moving game, by the way, so you move with arrow keys. And since it's all skill shot, there's also an element of like 3D to it, so you can jump over abilities and things like that too.
Yes, you can, which is really awesome. Yeah, the character, I can't even remember the name of her because it's been a year since I played it. So I played it in early access, but I also played the game's predecessor, Bloodline Champions.
Good game.
It was, yes. It didn't do... Yeah, it didn't do quite as well. This is really a second go-around attempt to make that game right. You know, to try and make it as good as possible, which so far seems to have been pretty successful looking at the player numbers. There's quite a lot of people playing this game, and it seems to have longevity.
It's actually also by the same people who did Dead Island Epidemic, if you ever played that too.
Oh, yeah. Didn't that shut down?
It did, yes.
Yeah.
But they like, it looks like they've had 2 different games to get this formula down.
Yeah. And the formula's great, because it is just like, it's a best of 5, it's quite short, it's all skill-based, there's no gear, it's all cosmetic. Like, you can get cool-looking skins for your weapons and helmets and stuff like that. They're all cosmetic. Everything is down to your skill and working with your teammates. That's it. There's the progression isn't in any way related to your power. It's all
That's really interesting, dude.
And it's a really fun game. because you can pull off some clutch stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. There's when you get to a point where, because you know, in 2v2, 3v3, if it's just you versus the rest of the team, like all your buddies are dead and it's just you versus like 2 people, you can still win.
Oh yeah, you totally can.
Not game over. You can still win.
Not Warcraft.
So no, it's not.
No, definitely not. It's not a
you
case
don't
of
just stand there and die. You could do some great. You know the PogChamp emote. You'll be doing that.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, it has been a year since I played it, so correct me on this one. When you die, when your teammate dies, it's possible to like grab these energy orbs from his corpse.
Yes.
If you do that, that charges up your like super meter, and your super meter gives you access to your ultimate, but it also lets you EX a couple of moves, so you can do a more powerful version of that move, which often has different properties. So if you're quick, you can grab that energy, and you can come back with, you know, a really amazing ultimate or anything like that. There's a lot of comeback potential, and what's really cool about the game is it makes it's got a clip maker of the coolest moments, like a highlight reel built into the game, which is really easy to
ca Overwatch.
So you can be an absolute badass in that game. It's very, very enjoyable from what I played of it almost a year ago. I really want to get back into it in a big way, because I love Bloodline.
One thing a lot of people have a lot of issues with this game is they're like, oh, well, it just looks like, you know, a basic version of like Dota or League of Legends. What do you say to those people?
I don't even think it's the same genre.
I agree. No one agrees with me.
Yeah, I really don't think it's the same genre at all, because those are games that are a big mix of PvE and PvP, right? You know, farming is super important. Denying is super important. Last hitting is super important. The economy of the game, you know, earning enough money to get this item and that item and all that kind of thing. There's none of that. It's a pure gladiatorial arena fight.
Do you think that's because of the art style? Do you think that people look at it and it reminds them of League of Legends? And
it could. I mean, I personally prefer this art style to League's. I think it's clearer. It's less crazy on the colors. I mean, it is colorful, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's League levels of color vomit. But, I mean, when you've got a game where you've got a set of abilities and an ultimate, people are obviously going to compare it to Dota and League, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, that's just a set of classes. And honestly, I think the WoW Arena comparison is much better. You know? It really is much better. But every class just has instead of having 50 spells, I know they did a lot later in WoW to really sort of reduce the spell kits down and abilities to a more manageable level. But, you know, you've got like 4 or 5 different abilities. You can EX a couple of them. Some have different effects under different circumstances. You fight, round's done, you get an upgrade, fight again, and then see if you can win the best of 5. And that's what it is. It's a nice compact experience. Now, League and Dota, for me, these days drag on way too long. They're 40 to 60-minute games. Even Heroes of the Storm, that's like 20 minutes.
And they're really fucking frustrating, dude.
10, and it's satisfying, you know? I really feel like as you start to master a character and really get the hang of it, because everything is skill-based, there's no RNG of any kind. It's extremely satisfying. To me, this is almost like a fighting game.
Yeah, I can totally see the comparison.
Yeah, kind of like a team-based fighting game.
Yeah.
It's more, you don't gotta like worry about like someone just getting lucky on you. It's kind of like Hearthstone versus chess, I guess you could say. It's like obviously the better player will win. They will not, you know, lose just to like, oh, look at me, I just got an Ixio. Oh, boy, you go. There's none of that.
Oh, my blue eyes. Oh boy, I got an Ixio. You bring your cloak? I don't think so. You're gonna get it. That's for my old school WoW fans.
Oh shit.
If you want, like, if the best part of, like, Dota and League for you is the big fights, the big team fights, this game is nothing but team fights. But everybody's on an even playing field all the time. It's all down to your skill. There's no ganks, there's no, oh, this guy has 5 levels on me and 5,000 more gold's worth of items. I am fucked. No, you're not. You're totally not.
If you want that, though, the Battlegrounds mode does have that, because you can outlevel your opponents like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't play that mode, but yeah, the 2v2 and 3v3, it's great personally. And you get a real sense of a pride and accomplishment. That's the quote we've been hearing the last couple of weeks.
Pride and accomplishment când ce? Când nu fidezi.
But it's because you're just getting better at your character, and that feels really, really good.
Filthy casuals, that's what you are, guys. Filthy casuals.
I want to do 2v2s. I want to play regularly and get my ranks up. Yeah, let's go. You've been playing a ton of it on stream. I'm going to come join you and ruin your ranking.
Well, actually, another fun fact about that is you have your own separate ranking when you team up with anybody. So as soon as you team up with one person, you go into placement matches and you get your own ranking with that individual.
Oh, that's cool. So each team has its own rank.
Yes.
That's sweet.
Like, I have a gold rated team. My solo is a platinum. It's like, it's all just a bunch of different like rankings.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's a smart way to do it.
Și League ar trebui să facă asta. Asta chiar e o idee super bună. Fiecare echipă să aibă rankul ei. Wow. Ok.
Right now. That's a very, very, very good number. That puts it just inside the top 15. There's plenty of players. And I like the business model. I like the fact that you can just buy every champion now and forever. And if you don't feel like doing that, you don't feel like investing too much, then play free to play for a little while. You know, the characters are equally viable, and the fact that you don't have like, it's not like Overwatch is a bit of a weird comparison, but like Overwatch is really like team comp focused right now, to the point where you get seriously yelled at if you're not playing the right thing within the meta. Like these is 2v2, 3v3s. It's like, oh, we don't have a healer. Like, you don't necessarily need one. You know, two damage or 2 tank team, it can work. You know, 3s, maybe you want a healer there, but you've got a lot of flexibility as to what you play. More so than you would in these other larger team-based games. Especially like League and Dota. You know, you've got those very regimented roles. That's not really the case in Battle Royale. You've got more flexibility.
Probably clarify really quick that there are loot boxes.
It's all cosmetic.
Lewd boxes?
Lewd boxes.
Excellent. That's all I want.
Okay.
You can't get champions in those, can you?
You can get free champions, yes.
Oh, can
if you play free to play entirely, you can get free champions in those. But you get them every time you level up your characters, I think.
Yeah.
Might be that one, or also your account itself.
Yeah.
So
otherwise, it's all cosmetic stuff.
Yeah.
Just what it is.
Like bought the game itself, it's purely cosmetic at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's Battle Royale. Yeah.
Loot boxes.
Loot boxes.
Ieși din cutie.
And it's got mounts in it.
Why are we not selling that?
No. Loot crate.
Loot crate. Oh my god.
Surely that's already been done. There's no way you were the only person to come up with that. No.
Hold on. Loot
I'm already
crate.
googling it.
Loot. Oh, loot crate content. Huh.
Patreon. Yeah. There's. I don't even think lootcrate.com exists. Huh. Well, there you go.
Hi everyone.
This is going back. This is going back to Dongbox, isn't it?
Dongbox.
What was it? Bangbox. Bangbox is what we called it. It was a while ago. Yes.
Bangbox. Yeah.
Yes. You got sent a box every month of like weird sex toys and stuff.
Oh god.
We have. It's not actually called Bangbox, but we nicknamed it Bangbox.
It's gonna be a banger. Look, it was gonna be amazing.
Indeed.
Oh god.
Yep. Definitely worth looking at.
It's free.
I'm gonna play it. Yeah, it is. Give it a shot. I like it a lot.
It's free.
It's free.
It is. And good. Dodger.
Dude, I keep going back to Atlas Reactor every now and then.
Yeah, I noticed you were back on that.
Yeah, that game has gone fully free to play now, and it's super fun. They've been consistently adding new people. There's a new frontline character that is okay. His name's Magnus, and he's supposed to be like a triceratops in a suit.
Okay.
But I don't know. There's something like in the way he's this is gonna sound so dumb. In the way he's designed, like I wish he just had a tail or something, because he looks like they took the body of a mobster and then put a triceratops.
I'm gonna have to put yeah, that's exactly what they did. But like, so I'm gonna have to give some context to people.
Oh,
by actually showing what's on the screen here.
yeah, Atlas Reactor is a sort of hero-based XCOM style game. You only control one character. You like choose your hero that you play, and it's team-based. And it's all about like choosing what you're gonna do, and then it all fulfilling at the same time. So like, there's a dash stage, an attack stage, and then a movement stage. And so when it's basically when like everyone's turn is up, you have a certain amount of time to say like, okay, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna attack, and then after I attack, I'm gonna move to this spot. So it's a lot of sort of trying to guess like who's gonna go where, so that when you attack, you're actually hitting somebody.
Yeah,
and
because you can totally whiff
your abilities correctly. There are frontline characters, which are like tanks. There are like the supporty characters, and then there's the damage characters, and they're all super cool. I think Magnus, I don't know how I feel about Magnus. I like that his first ability, the longer that you don't use it, the more powerful it is, or the further you can hit. So it's like a
Te-ai jucat pe oameni? Pe oameni nu. Dar da, pe freakz.
So it like does that, I think 2 or 3 times, which I don't think any of the other characters have. I think that's a new sort of concept, is encouraging you to leave an ability alone for a little bit. But I don't know. I also like that his ultimate taunts everybody that it hits. It makes it so that everybody that it hits has to follow him, so their movement phase is basically forfeit. There are some cool things about him, but I just don't know how to use him very well, so...
Dodger, you fucking suck, Dodger.
A team, or do you just play with randoms, generally? Because this really seems like the kind of game that would be much better with an organized team.
Yeah, but it gives you lots of ways to sort of understand what your team is doing. You can see exactly what every person on your team is going to do. So it shows you like the line for where they're going to go, and it shows you the arc for whatever attack they're going to use. You can't see that for the enemy team, but you can hover over any character in the game, including the enemies, and see
Pe freakz se fac update-uri săptămânal, da, se fixează bug-uri și chestii. So it's fine din punctul ăsta de vedere.
Because I know they don't have a
Doamne, nu dau damage deloc.
right? So I know that they're not going to be able to dash away before I can get my attack in, that kind of a thing. So that's kind of nice. It allows you to have a bit more automatic understanding of what everybody's doing, and you can ping people. So if somebody was like, yo, this guy, there's a dude right here who's almost dead, like we need to focus this guy, like you can ping somebody. They make it pretty easy to play with randos, I think. And unfortunately, there are pretty much no custom games going at any given time. So anytime I
nu trec la noile patch-uri. La 7.3 I don't know, sincer. O să, I mean, patch-urile noi s-ar putea să strice, să le strice serverul, sau nu cred că o să treacă prea curând la el. N-am văzut pe PTR ce fac, dar n-aș zice că o să treacă prea curând la patch-ul nou. Oh my fucking god, what have I done? I'm gonna die here, ain't I?
I think
Or
it's a really fun game.
I'm gonna level here.
Played it because I don't think that there's really any other game like it.
Not really. Not this whole simultaneous turn.
Ce bine că am pe damage mitigation. Wow.
That's pretty unique.
Yeah.
No.
And I can see the appeal of that as well, because as you said, it's a little bit. We're talking about another kind of multiplayer.
I mean, XP mult, dar loot 0. Până la urmă mă interesează XP-ul, so.
Yeah.
It's all strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just about like
tot effort doar ca să trec pe aici.
what you're going to do in the designated amount of time that you have, because everybody has the same amount of time to make their choices. So in that way, I can see how somebody might
expansiuni te-ai jucat? Toate.
And feel a little overwhelmed at first. But I think that after a couple of games, you get the hang of it, and it's really, really
Oh
fun.
my god, delete mobs.
So, yeah,
N-am
I'm
chef de
still
voi.
really enjoying that game. I like coming back to it.
Cool. Well, hopefully it continues to
Where's my
at
pet?
least do relatively well. It's been a busy year, and as we know, keeping player bases together is pretty tricky, but it seems like it's doing all right, you know?
Yeah.
That's not a dead game, you know, if there's 350 people online
It's
at any given
dead.
time. It's dead! It's dead! You're gonna find a game. So that's good enough. It's not a death spiral. It seems like you know,
I never.
it's found its niche and
for a
people keep
game,
playing
I
it.
never sit there for a long time without a game. Like
That's
it
always
pops
good.
me into a game pretty fast. There are definitely enough people playing it, so.
Cool. All right.
For that knowledge about Alice Reactor.
Indeed. Jesse, you've been chilling in the background.
Expansiune preferată. Trebuie să fie Burning Crusade-ul de pe vremuri.
I'm kind of in Cry's boat. The thing that I have to talk about that I played the most is
Deci top 3 ar fi Burning Crusade-ul, Wrath of the Lich King și Legion-ul. N-am vanilla în top pentru că n-am jucat vanilla. N-am prins de atunci. M-am apucat în Burning Crusade să joc WoW.
Let's try to figure out what to do here with all these.
You feel overwhelmed before you even started. Yeah.
So, literally what I did is and you'll see it in the video whenever it goes up. I literally was just like, look, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I'm really, let's jump into this and let's see what happens. And I literally learned how to play.
E un bonus obiectiv aici, hai să-l facem.
It's really not.
I thought I was gonna be overwhelmed. It's super easy, and once I figured out how simple it was to learn, I was like, let's jump in the deep end. So I decided to play Chaos. Fucking loved it. I had so much fun. It's a simpler, much more compact version of the game. You literally have your horde. Your horde is your town. It's also your commander. It's also everything's in the one little unit. And I loved it. And I just went around and destroyed stuff.
Does that mean you're playing Mortal Empires then? Because that's a Warhammer. So you're playing the giant, huge fuck-off map of death.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. It's a big one.
It was a learning process. So what I did is I played the much smaller version first, and I played.
Give me items, boys,
like,
please.
Okay, I understand what this is, and I did the tutorial, and I sort of chunked it. I was like, oh, all right, well, now I understand that all the things that are on my screen that I thought was just like overwhelming really aren't.
No.
Really, everything has a purpose, and it's all very simple and easy to understand. And once I got that, I was like, okay, well, let's try something wild. I was gonna do orcs, but then I was like, Chaos, hey, this should be interesting. And it is. The concepts change, but what you're trying to do is the exact same thing. You're just trying to conquer, except in this case, you can't take over any cities. You can't make, like, you can't, all your units,
you don't build cities, you chaos, you burn shit to the ground.
What you can do is you can go and have the Norsemen join your side and they become an ally of yours.
Yes.
But you don't control them. All you have is your one army. And if your army dies, that's it, you're done. So it's already listed as like very hard, and I was like, okay, cool.
It is tricky, that one.
Yeah, I learned some valuable lessons along the way. One, I did not know that if you go close to a town, you end up in their like sphere of influence, and you cannot do anything but attack them. And so, like, straight up, oh yeah, it literally says you cannot attack. You can do nothing but attack. Like, if you get in
you can move out of the sphere.
It's like you are not allowed to move. It's like you cannot move.
What? Is that a chaos specific thing? Because usually, no, you're not forced to do that.
It straight up is like, you are in the area, you must, like, it says in text. I was like, what? Okay. It was crazy. I'm not joking. I need someone to back me up on this because
I haven't played Chaos in years, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it literally says, so what happens is, when you play as Chaos, you have all these different stances. So you have a march stance,
yeah, everyone has stances,
power. Yeah. You have a raiding stance, which allows you to just raid up and down the countryside. You have a normal stance, but what happens is, in order to get out of the sphere of influence, you have to attack.
Ai macro că tu spamezi pe unul, yep.
And so the problem is that a lot of times
am GS.
Go kill this guy, and if you do, you'll
Și
get
mi-am
the
făcut
hammer
un
of
macro
Slorgoth.
specific
And I was
pentru
like,
Hunter,
fuck
unul
yeah,
de
do
AOE
it.
și unul de
And I
single
start chasing
target.
him, and he'd be a hero, and he's just
Și are
running.
tot
It's a giant
misdirection,
horde of guys
tot ce
that
vrei are în el.
and they like run past an enemy town.
Și doar
and I'd be
ține
like,
apăsat pe
"I'm
un
gonna hit
buton
you,"
și
and run and
face caracterul tot.
stuff. And, like,
E
just to fight
e
the
fun.
enemy, and it was always like
E fucking
a
Hunter,
human
dude.
castle, like somewhere in the Empire. I'm like, are you kidding me? And so then I'd like end up in this huge battle. It was so well, every time I would fight and then try to retreat, I'd always lose guys, and I didn't want to lose people. I was always about like I want to decimate. So yeah, I left like a flame and destruction in my wake as I went around. But
as you should, it is chaos.
Yeah, it was fun, and I never expected to have as much fun as I did. So yeah, even though it is everything I did was for a brand deal, it's still on my computer because I'm definitely gonna play more. Because that was crazy.
It's a time sink. Like, you can... Yeah. I think I've probably put 70, 80 hours into Total War Warhammer 2. And that's like... puts it in the top 5 of time spent this year. And the previous game was like that as well. And all the Total War games are kind of like that. As I've mentioned before on the show, like, this new giant map thing is not for me. It's way too large.
It is.
It's just, it's ludicrous. It's completely ludicrous.
I love it.
How long do you think a campaign on that map would take?
A long time.
God knows.
Eu asta nu merg.
In the stuff I recorded for the video, I spent 3 hours with that. And then just cut it all down.
Cleaner e bun de ceva, da. Bine, poți să alea poți să le ce faci programul ăla poți să faci și tu manual, știi? Adică depinde, e enervant că te spamează cu reclame și cu căcaturi și te stresează să le instalezi toate căcaturile care nu fac nimica. Dar să le instalezi, să curezi PC-ul și după aia să-l ștergi, e foarte ok.
Guess I'll recruit 3 units and next turn.
Yeah,
and
just next turn.
Like, thousands.
That's the problem. Yeah, because there's like so many other factions. It means the turn time drastically increases between turns. So that's a pain in the ass.
But the other mode is great because it's just 4 factions.
Yeah.
Well, 4 major races. There are many factions, but 4 races.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you do know you can have more than one horde, by the way, right?
Well, first I needed another hero. I never got one. I never got another hero. I got followers, I got weapons, like in my playthrough that I did, I got so much stuff. I had 50 fucking rings, you could only equip 1. I got all this stuff, I literally was just like, I got no other heroes.
I can't remember how you recruit those as Chaos, it's been too long since I played.
You have to, you can get them from quests or randomly by killing dudes, or you can upgrade through your like tree to get.
Hai să vedem dacă trebuie să omor mobul ca să... No.
So I was just...
Nu mă prind exact cum funcționează, dar am impresia că dacă stau în zona asta și omor mobii, atunci se eliberează sufletele, da? Deci trebuie să omori mobii ca să dai release la spiritele, la draina ăștia. Mă rog, cert e că am terminat și questul ăla, level 99. Mă duceam spre Nagrand, dar mi-a distras atenția questul ăla de pe drum, so l-am făcut, whatever.
Cum e indica și nu e indicat să revin la ce am fost, trebuie să rămân schimbat.
Că ce? Că Windows 7 bate pe 10? Niciodată, prieteni. Niciodată.
Well, the Empire building's never been that good, like, cause there's not a huge amount of decision making involved in it, like
mult mai bun Windows 10 la tot resource management, consumption, etc, eficiență mult mai bună.
And seeing dragons roast entire armies and having sieges and all that kind of thing.
What the fuck do I have to do here?
That's where most of it is, you know, the actual empire management, nah, that's generally not all that fun.
Nope.
So what you're saying is the game is not as hard to get into as it looks like then.
Not at all.
No.
That's the thing that kept me
is
it
usually
literally took someone paying me money to check it out. Let's be real. Once that happened, I was like, oh, this is not nearly as
Cum e indica și nu e indicat să revin la ce am fost, trebuie să rămân schimbat.
BM Hunter pe viață, doamne aștept.
If you even call it grand strategy, it's an entry-level grand strategy. Very much so. It's one of the easiest ones to get into. and the focus being on the actual battles, which is why it's very popular. Because a lot of these grand strategy games, no, there isn't a huge focus on fighting, and the fighting's not very visually impressive or whatever. Whereas in Total War, it's very visually impressive. You see cavalry charge into units and stuff just flying everywhere, bits and pieces of bodies, and
da, deci faza e că Windows 7 versus Windows 10. Windows 7 era acum câțiva ani, într-adevăr erau niște chestii la care se descurca mai bine, pentru că Windows 10 era prea nou, știi? Dar azi nu se compară, nu se pot compara, sunt... The fuck is this? Ok, whatever. E mult mai bun Windows 10 acum. Mult mai bun. Pa-para-para.
That's awesome to watch. That will never ever get boring to watch that. I did a
Fireballs
skirmish.
are great. You can throw a fireball and it explodes and like rolls through the enemy, and you're like, I did that.
Yep. The magic element in particular is very cool.
293 de K.
It's like, yeah, we could do a huge damage with this, and it's like
you just
try and aim for the just optimal point, and then just demolish a bunch of units. It's
also because it's
good shit.
If you know strategy, like battle strategy, all that works.
Oh yeah,
so
totally.
High ground to hiding units to flanking, all of that works really well.
Yep.
I'm so glad that I got a recording of me flanking with warhounds and taking out their catapults. It was a beautiful moment. Like they just
Care-i main-ul tău? Să nu spui de Cablad că mă las de viață. Păi, îmi place foarte mult să joc Paladin Tank, dar nu în Legion, sincer. Toată viața am jucat Paladin Tank, dar nu în Legion, frate, nu în Legion.
I recall playing Skaven and hiding
kind of sucks in Legion, sincer.
Just waiting for them to pass and then just coming out of the woods and just spraying their army with
Can I do anything here? Mai e un bonus obiectiv sus pe deal acolo.
It's good shit.
Oh, I was actually curious about
Dar parcă era un quest bun aici, din ce țin eu minte.
There was a trailer announcing Skaven and it was like so fucking cool looking. Is it similar to that? Because I mean, I got pretty excited when I watched that trailer.
Skaven are my favorite race. Like they're a mixture of really expendable rat men and weird warp technology. So it's like, and that's a cool combination because if you don't care about hitting your own troops, then suddenly you start throwing a lot of stuff at them.
Ce?
Oh, my rat men are dying. Sucks to be
Dude,
them.
vorbești despre WoW și despre requirements? Serios? WoW poți să-l joci pe orice. Și pe o cărămidă, pe o fucking cărămidă îl joci, dude.
You don't care if you lose your rats, they're coming back. Yeah, they're cool. Skaven are awesome. Lots of plague and ridiculous crap. Though they do tend to get a little bit nervous. Like they break really easily. They have very low morale. So just don't let the fight drag on too long. Otherwise, all your rats run away. Not ideal.
I hate when like guys just run. They're like, "We're going to run." They run away and they just run like 5 feet the other direction. It's like, what are you doing? Just turn around and fight. Oh my God, you're chaos marauders. Just kill each other. Yeah. Chaos. Kind of chaotic. Who knew?
Yep. Yep. Weird.
Chaos kind of chaotic.
When we come back, more games that we've been playing this week. You're currently watching the Co-optional Podcast. Do not go anywhere.
Nu plecăm, menuț, nu plecăm.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed the sounds of Miracle of Sound with London Town and Going Nuclear. Alright, let's talk a little bit more about games we've been playing.
Quest log is full, boys. Nu e bine.
I got it.
What you got?
Fate 2. What up?
Let's talk about that some more. I'm super down.
Let's do it.
Yep.
So it's good. That's all I have to say.
Well, we're gonna need a little bit more than that out of you.
Did you play the first one?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah,
I played the first one, and I feel like they took the first
Vreau să zic pe ultra setările. Da, men, merg.
Let's just take everything we got from the first one and just
ți-am zis, poți să-l rulezi pe o cărămidă.
No minuses, just put plus signs on that thing. It's so good. I love the way they have the campaign system set up. I love the way they have like all these different challenges now where when you start up a little campaign, they give you this own little like quest, I guess, like its own story kind of with a boss at the end. You also have a companion system where you get more companions as you play the game more so, and they all have their own quests and their own dialogue.
I do really love following the specific quests for like different companions. I think that's fun, and they definitely increase in difficulty. Like at first, it's really easy to complete the first stage of their quest, and then once you get a few like tiers in, you're like, this is like a lot of shit to do. This is some heavy shit.
So to give some context to people that don't know what this game is, it is essentially
Are ceva dacă am dat update la Intel HD? Nu. Nu are de ce să aibă, e bine. Așa și trebuie. Să-ți faci update-urile la timp.
The dealer was in the first game, he's in this one as well. And he has a set of challenges for you that are all themed, they are all unique rules, and with a boss at the end as well. And the dungeon is kind of laid out with face-down cards, and you flip the cards over and you see what happens. So, the dealer's going to have some cards that are related to the scenario in there, but you could also bring along some of your own cards. So you get to choose some of the things you're going to encounter during the game. So, if you're on a mission where you're going to be facing off against a lot of, say, thieves, you probably want to put in some encounters that would help you out with that, maybe some equipment that would be useful against those, and alter the deck to better suit the challenge that you're facing off against. And as you progress through the game,
mersi pentru sfat. Da, frate, update-uri la timp tot timpul. Update-uri la timp tot timpul. Ah, wow. Good, Sneak. Cuvinte, învățăm.
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah, the game is really cool. I like that the dealer has such, like, it's not like he has this big expressive personality, but he is absolutely like an important character that adds to the atmosphere of the game so much. Yeah, he's really cool. They have just the right amount of mysterious, like, who the fuck.
Tot asculti pe fundal. E co-optional podcast. E un podcast cu Total Biscuit, Jesse Cox și Dodger, a.k.a. Press Hard to Continue, care e fata. Și gen discută despre jocuri.
Well, there are storyline reasons for
down
that.
for you to fail, but he's also like okay with you winning.
Yeah, there are storyline reasons for that. So, and which we won't spoil, but yeah, he's less adversarial, I would say, in this one.
How much time supposedly has happened from the first one to the
100 years, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Pretty large gap.
Yeah, so he references being beaten in the first one.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool. I love when there's another game in a series and there are characters that reference like a character that you played in the first one. Yeah. Especially in a god that asshole sort of a way.
Yeah, it carries on. It's interesting, you know, the whole game within a game thing is so intriguing. You know,
Mamă, cât de greu mi s-a activat speed-ul, tu glumești.
As Cry said, like it's the first one.
Salutare, Leo.
Way, which I would agree with. The changes that he made to the game, you know, are in the game universe things he actually did. Like these changes to the sequel are because a character within the game changed the game within the game, which is just great. I love that level of meta nonsense that's going on with that.
There's a lot of layers to it.
It is.
Were there? Sorry.
O să mai joc cu o să mai joc eu, îmi plac live-urile cu WoW. Momentan mă joc doar WoW, deci o să vedem.
This is what happens when net neutrality disappears.
Am sărit în apă. God damn it.
Wow.
Go for it, honey.
That's fine. No, you go.
Okay. I was just gonna talk about the Twitch integration features.
Bada bing, bada boom, and such.
So in case you didn't know, there's Twitch integration features in this game.
Oh boy.
And it's pretty good. Because you can have it set so your viewers can vote like every 8 or so steps you take in the actual game. You have a positive or negative thing affect you. You can also have them vote if there's like a choice of 4 cards. You can have them vote which card to pick. This can, you know, help or, you know, be a bad thing, because at least for my chat when this happens, every time I do this, they like to pick the card that is the bad card. And then I always be like, all right, chat, here we go. And then it's the massive failure card. I'm like, oh, okay, well, thanks, guys.
I mean, those bits are mostly random anyway. Like
you can actually follow them.
You can, but it's really hard.
It's
very difficult.
It's very, very hard.
Yeah, there were definitely a couple of times where I was like, man, I did not track that very well. I'm gonna hit the vote button and see if chat can help me. And then it was always a split between like two. And I knew one of them was the fucking failure card, and one of them was the good card, and I was like, right, who's trying to vote me right now? Because
you can't trust them. Every game I've ever played with Twitch integration like that, you cannot trust them. They made for me Party Hard was bad in the first place. They made Party Hard a miserable experience.
So they made Party harder.
Yeah.
Roasted.
It's horrendous.
What?
Totally horrendous. This game is good though. It is
very good.
Very good. It's full of really interesting challenges. There's a lot of variety this time. Combat is still the weak bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have apparently a terrible cat has snuck into my bathroom somehow.
Oh no.
Oh,
I have heard that you hate them.
Oh, not a big fan.
Apparently, a terrible cat has snuck into my bathroom. So I love that. It sounds like the beginning of a book. The cat in the hat snuck into his bathroom.
What?
Jesse, do you remember when I was telling you that when I was a kid, chipmunks used to like sneak into our house and hide shit everywhere?
I remember that. I also remember being like, "That's nonsense."
So my mom was telling me that sorry, this is totally a tangent, but my mom was telling me the other day, she was like sitting in her chair reading her book, and she looked upstairs and just saw a squirrel like walk out of the office, and she was like, "What the fuck?" So
I left you nuts for the winter, lady.
Yeah. So they've been spending the last like 2 weeks trying to plug up any holes under the house that.
Câte costuri avem de dat?
For helping.
În sfârșit putem să plecăm de aici, să mergem în Legion, Doamne.
I'll never forget being in high school and going, I'm cold, I'm gonna grab my blankie, picking up my blanket, and a bunch of dog food fell out of it because chipmunks were hiding dog food in the house.
What?
What?
Did you by chance smell like dog food at points in your life?
I believe that. I believe that.
I'm sorry, are you implying there's a time when she doesn't smell like dog food?
Oh.
Girl likes dog food. She eats it all the time.
Honestly.
I'm just telling you guys, one day when a book company comes to me and they're like, look, YouTuber books are big. You want to write a book? I'll be like, yep, I got it. And then it's going to be entirely stories about weird shit that happened when I was living on this farm. And now you know one of them. So that's like a little sneak peek.
About the extravagant life of a YouTuber and how amazing your life is and how you should give people.
No, you save that for your rap.
Oh,
yeah.
My rap is gonna be how amazing my life is. Yeah, and then I'm gonna start a blog where every blog post is about how you need to live life to the fullest every day, and
you have to cry. You have to cry a lot in those, like.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Salut, Rever. Josh, bro.
Yeah, and then at the end be like, buy my shirts.
Yeah, I got a new shirt out today, guys.
Buy my shirts, please.
They're pretty good.
I'm so happy. Thank you.
My ghostwriter did an incredible job with this book.
And then
your next video is when you drop your like, I got giant watches on my wrist, bitch, right? And then you write your book, and your book is like, I had such a sad upbringing. Close.
Uite, bine, mă joc cu au și ascult The Optional Podcast. De la câți ani joci WoW? 14? I think.
Also, there are chipmunks in my house sometimes.
Hand of Fate 2, not a bad game.
Cred că 14 ani, da.
Yeah, pretty good game.
Țin minte că salvam câte 2 lei pe zi ca să-mi iau game card de la Diverta. Îmi luam game card de 60 de zile și puneam deoparte 2 lei pe zi. Nu exista zi în care să nu pun deoparte 2 lei.
Here's a game that we've been keeping an eye on for a while. I know Dodger in particular has had her eye on this. I don't Battleship Brigade. Yes.
Is that out today?
It came out a couple of days ago. Yeah, it came out yesterday. I think that's you haven't played it yet.
It was. I thought that like people like us got codes a couple days ago, but
well, you might have. I didn't, but have you played it yet then?
I mean,
because I
didn't get a
Acum ai game card? Nu, acum mai joc pe
I got
privat.
an apron though.
What?
You got an apron. I'm sure that'll be really useful promo for the guy that never shows his face.
It's really weird. They always send me merchandise and like, you know, promo shit, but they never send me the actual game itself. It's very strange.
Not massively useful.
Animals and shit.
Yeah, like I got that slug cat thing too.
Yeah, I got one of those. Wait,
Câțiva curat în inventar.
Wait, sorry, wow. That was the beginning of like 8 different sentences.
You want to maybe read? Come on,
La ce pune game card-ul?
and just pick it.
As the game time pe oficial.
Yes.
What?
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Has it been that way forever?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm dumb. welcome to the world.
You're not dumb. You're not dumb.
Well, one way the game is out. It is out, and I take it you haven't played it yet. I played it. Anyone else played it?
Del Tete.
The number one Alex play it. It's like.
Oh, I love him.
Alex is a good boy.
I mean,
I've not played.
Should we explain the game to people who don't know what
I think that's probably a pretty damn good idea, because people are highly confused at this point.
That's a damn good idea.
Damn good idea, sir. So, the concept being that, for some reason, the kingdom is defended by martially capable...
Ok, făcut curat în inventar.
I said it came out yesterday.
You said it came out a couple days ago. Anyways, keep going.
But like, what is...
Yesterday.
The game. Yeah, the game. Yeah,
Ce rulează? The Co-optional podcast, dude.
Capable chefs of some description for some reason, and it is a mixture of a cooking game with a brawler. And you use the brawler part to kill the things to cook in the first place. You beat up giant monsters sometimes, and then you bring their body parts back, and then you cook them into a delicious meal using a sort of match 3-esque kind of puzzle game.
As you do.
As you do. So this is what you're seeing on the screen right now is the beating up part. So you have various moves, you can unlock more and get new equipment and weapons as you go through the game, although as far as I can tell, you're going to be stuck with mostly this kind of dagger style of playing things. You have magic spells and all that kind of thing. And the different levels have different ingredients, and there are a couple of secrets and things like that you can gather. And once you've filled your satchel full of ingredients, go back to the pot and go mix them up and try to make the best meal that you possibly can. This is all timed. So you get the cooking challenge, which usually has like a Iron Chef like special ingredient that you've got to put in your dish to get bonus points. And then you go back to the pot and you mix things up and you try and, in some cases, match 3, in other cases match other things, to get higher level gems in the pot, which represents higher quality mixing, higher quality ingredients, etc, etc. And the judging is sort of done through a point system, which is... they obfuscate it a little bit. They give you some idea as to what a judge is going to like. It's like, this judge really likes if you have a lot of water-based elements in your dish, etc. And if you know, and you sort of earn points that way.
Also, as you pick up ingredients.
Deci nu mai joci pe oficial? Nu mai am game time, dude. Aștept salariul ca să-mi iau să joc pe oficial.
Which will help you in the match 3 sort of section of the game, so you can say to yourself, okay, if I pick up high quality ingredients that are mostly like blue and green, then I know that I'll be able to match those things together and create like a good product in the end. So like it's not random at that point where you're like, shoot, none of these great things that I picked up go together at all.
No, you get told immediately just by like standing over an ingredient what it's got, and you can put whatever you want in the pot. You can bring back quite a lot of different ingredients, put them in your pantry, and then go from there. And there is a lot of planning in this game. A surprise, as you get later on, by the way, you don't just have one pot. You can have up to 3, and these 3 pots can have different attributes. Let's get forward. This guy's spending way too much time beating on things.
I was gonna say, buddy, you gotta go.
Yeah, it's like,
make
go actually cook. There we go. So yeah, this is just the basic pot, which is just match 3, and you drop things into the pot, and then you stir, which is where you can rotate things in order to create the matches. And you'll see your score kind of going up under that, and your goal is to create as many high quality gems as possible. So ingredients usually have level 1. If you can get a bunch of level 3s in there, it's going to be pretty good. But it gets much more complicated as you go on through the game, because you're going to run with, like, you may be making 2 different dishes, you've got 3 different pots that maybe do different things, and you can pick up one dish and put it in another pot to combine it if you have the space, but only if you have the space. So there's a shit ton of planning involved in it. For instance, I ran into an item you can buy, which is a slow cooker, and its sole role is you put ingredients in it, and slowly over time it evolves them to higher level. So you can start off, toss some stuff in the slow cooker, go out, get some stuff in your other pan, and hopefully by the time you're almost out of time, you've got some high quality stuff you can take out of the cooker and toss in the other pan. But that, of course, only works if you've left enough space and all that kind of thing.
Wow.
So it becomes surprisingly complicated as you go through.
Wow.
It's a pretty cool combination of puzzle and brawler. And there's a few mini games in between that as well. You can go to the town and do, like, you can cook at the restaurant, which is just quickly create patterns at the highest speed possible to earn money. There's puzzle challenges, there's hunt challenges, all that kind of thing. And
deci nu pot să mă duc în Legion sau
and go through a tournament and things like that.
Care-i faza?
It's the conceit.
Ok, nu. Doar o să abandonez quest-urile acum.
Because I mean, these mechanics on their own, you know, it's a match 3.
Wow, what have I fucking done, boys?
And because
deci am luat toate
quest-urile
astea.
The best chef in the land by cooking the ingredients of the things that you hunt. That's when it becomes far more interesting, and that kind of makes it way more than the sum of its
Wasting
parts.
my time.
And in case you're like me, it's not anything similar to fighting.
Nu, la level 100 poți să te duci în Legion, eu știam că la level 100 poți să te duci în Legion. What the fuck,
boys? It's one of those things where you don't really want to know, but you kind of do.
Already googling it.
Go ahead and just give it a quick goog in case you're curious.
Mă duc în
about
whoa, this looks amazing.
Foods, and it was a good time, but it's nothing similar to that. Sorry if you did think that, though. I just wanted to make sure nobody thought that and got their hopes up. That's about it.
Yeah. No, it's
why is there
it's Food Wars the game.
Because it's a fighting food.
Mă duc în store, mă închei, poate găsesc quest-ul acolo. Nu mai țin minte de unde luam quest-ul ca să mă duc în...
Sorry, completely unrelated, my bad.
Ca să mă duc în Legion, boys.
Just letting the air pass.
Yep.
Just letting it pass. Let it hover there.
I finally got Sam to start watching Food Wars, and now he's addicted.
Food Wars is great.
I'm very happy.
It's entertaining. But so was Battle Chef, incidentally.
Yeah, that was Battle Chef.
Yeah. It's on Switch. It's on PC. Switch is a good medium for it. The only thing I think is really missing from it, because I've enjoyed it. I played a good 4 hours of it yesterday. Enjoyed what I played. Is like I'm really feeling like they missed the trick by not including a split screen chef battle mode. There's a huge amount of potential in that. You know, you can go off, gather your ingredients. Maybe there could be ways to sabotage
Red Ridge Mountains.
Like
what the fuck is really going on, boys?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Like, probably not online, maybe local, but I don't see why not. They have a daily cooking challenge, which is single player, so there's a reason to kind of come back and do that. But outside of the campaign, currently there's nothing else. I think if they added the sort of multiplayer cook-off battle thing, that would give the game a lot of longevity. As it stands, though, it's a really cool combination of different genres that are tied together by its weird-ass theme, and the game would totally not work if it didn't have that. Which is neat.
Yeah.
Also, it's a voice act, which is always nice.
And the VO's not bad, actually. You know, it's definitely very indie VO. I don't think there's anybody particularly famous in it, but no, it sounds good. It's well delivered.
Fighting food on. Sorry.
He is addicted to fighting food on now. I'm sorry.
Did you guys know that you know that mobile game Reigns?
Yes.
Yes.
So I always wind up playing like a little bit of that when I have a flight.
Reigns is awesome.
There's no Wi-Fi, and it's all you have on your phone.
Yeah, it's great. So I booted it up, and I don't know if they patched that game recently, but you know how there's the dove and the blackbird?
What the fuck, boys?
And like the guy keeps being like, the blackbird only brings ominous things, and the birds are always like fighting each other and stuff. Yeah. They made it so that the birds have like Trump-esque quotes now.
Oh, really?
And it's really weird. It's really weird to play that game. Like, the blackbird will show up and be like, the popper hates me. Sad. Just like, what?
The Legion Returns se numește quest-ul.
I think with the Reigns they continually add they add little events in every once in a while. And there's
The
a new
Legion
one coming
Returns.
out. It's about being a queen. I can't remember what it's.
Și ăsta e ăla de
Yeah, it's a new
hoardă.
Reigns game. It's coming out quite soon.
It's called Queens.
I don't, Reigns Your Majesty, I think, is the name of it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is same
Wow,
principle,
head.
you know, just new Reigns game. The thing I really liked about Reigns was how fucking weird it was.
The Legion
Consistently
Returns.
weird and strange.
Yeah, I love that it always gives you a list of like things to shoot for, and they're always bizarre enough that you find yourself making bad choices because you're like, is this the
Ori
way
pe
to
Heroes
get this
Call
done?
Board.
Like one of the
A, nu,
goals
e
that I
doar
have in
pe
that
Heroes
game
Call
right now.
Board.
I've never fully beaten that game. I always just play
No.
like a few years
Okay.
and then I put it back down, so I've never actually beaten it. But
Deci trebuie să mergem la
one
Heroes
of the
Call
goals
Board.
that I have right now is,
Dar
like,
la mine pe
marry
Heroes
a
Call
dove.
Board
So every
nu
time
era
the
quest-ul.
dove talks to me, I'm like, how do I get you to marry? It's weird. I don't know.
Have you tried cooing at it yet?
You know, it doesn't, because it's left or right.
Right, yeah.
And coup isn't either
It's
of the
not
options
Not
ever.
one of the finger flicks, no.
Yeah, so I'm just never sure like what the right thing is.
You might not
to
have
make
the thing
dove
yet.
look at me like a sexual partner. Like how do I like really?
How do you get the dove dick is what you really
How
want.
do you get the
how do I
dove
get
to
that
swipe
dick?
right?
I just don't know.
That's not something I have an answer to.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
you know, just for chat. to
Mi-am
think
oprit toate
about.
adoanele.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Somebody else in chat said
Someone
that
will have
they
the
got the
experience.
same event that I did with the birds, so I'm glad. I'm glad that
There
I
it
just
is
imagine
fucking
it being
is.
like,
Deci de la adoane nu
were
puteam
these
să
birds
le iau.
always here,
Fuck my
or-
life.
Probably not. They probably slipped them in there at some point. But
they're new.
yeah, I'll play the new one. Like I put a good amount of time. The first one was fun. All sorts of weird shit. The new one apparently has some inventory, so you can get items that you can upgrade and use them to unlock special paths. The narrative's more complicated. There's shit tons of new cards to unlock and everything. So yeah.
I think one
Fun
thing
little
about
game.
that game that I've always found confusing is there are things like the barn, right? You get an opportunity to build a barn at one point, and once the
Yep.
barn is built, it says this barn will continue to be here.
Yes.
And so it will continue to be there. But then there are things like the Silk Road where you establish a trade route, and that seems to disappear with every new reign.
What can I do for you?
And I never,
the Alliance?
it's never totally clear for me which things are
permanent
forever,
Yeah.
like the barn, and which things are just like dependent on which king.
Well, no, it's also action-based. Some of the choices you make eventually cancel out other things.
Yeah. Well, I know that like my
Okay,
barn
boys.
burned down
Mergem în Legion.
in one of the.
Let's
so
fucking go,
suddenly
boys.
The barn was gone, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. The barn burned down. I let it burn down. Like that's my bad.
There was one time when I was saving like 18 and I was like, how do I stop
Victory
this?
is
And I tried
ours!
everything. It was
Hold
like,
fast!
no,
Meccator!
Onyx is safe.
We finished this now! Call in the gunship!
At the same time, I had one where I had like
Triangulating our position right now.
it seems like, oh, this is great. Everything is going up. But of course, that's how you lose too. So
Push forward!
yeah, everything is like.
I'm most stressed out by everything.
And get Windrunner's archers to clear the
I
sky!
checked out because I'm just like, these are the anytime somebody's like, we need money for this, I'm like, yes, take it, please.
Ba-bam.
Keep spending. I love that stuff.
She wouldn't.
I
knew it!
The event
I
where,
knew we couldn't trust her!
the woman comes to you and she's like, I think that we should have or something like that.
Oh no.
There's an event where
Without the horde,
neighboring
we'll be
country comes to
overrun!
you and says, like,
We
I think
must
that we should
retreat!
have peace. And if you say yes, then they're like,
Get
great,
everyone to the
it's
gunship.
peaceful, but it's gonna be boring as fuck. And you literally have years where every single event is somebody coming to you and being like,
Bang, Titanic, anyone? Get the reference?
The game is bizarre, completely bizarre. Yeah, it is. So simple. It's like swipe left and right to make decisions. Simple as that.
Take this
Try not
to my son.
It is. Yeah, you can just play make your decisions. This is what it is. Jesse, you can bring something to
against this game, and probably rightly so. However, I literally want to start with book club and Star Wars. The campaign is looks awesome, really awesome. It sounds great. Going into the second campaign, because if not, like, learning how to play as all the different characters you can play as. It's fun to like vaporize dudes as Princess Leia and like jump around with Luke Skywalker. But the whole thing about like this is very much about the Empire. It's about all these new characters that we're going to introduce. Not really, not at all. What it does do that I actually like is that it takes the all the new canon stuff that exists, all the new story stuff, and gives you like little tidbits and throwaway lines. So like, you'll be in the middle of combat and they'll mention like, my Senator Snow is here. We were like, alright, because we know what that means as big nerds, because we know everything that takes place in this game lines up with a book or something that happens. Every chapter is like something we've seen before. We're like,
ouch.
Oh shit, we know what that is. If you had not read the books, if you had no interest in Star Wars besides the movies, this shit is a non-thing. Like, at the end of the campaign, they start dropping names, and they start hinting about things, and they start saying things, and then it just ends. You're like, wait, what?
Sucks, man.
And it's
the
not
feels
very good as a standalone thing. If you're a big Star Wars fan, then there's a lot of like tidbits in there for you. But as a solid campaign, as a story, oof, is it not good? So,
I would love for us to have stuff in Gia.
Gilneas will prevail.
Well,
Gilneas
he
will
likes
rise.
He likes multiplayer.
Gilneas will prevail,
He
boys.
loves the multiplayer. Like,
yeah. But he never gets caught up in any, like, every time I have a problem, he's always Johnny Brightside, which drives me crazy. I just want to strangle him to death sometimes. Like, I'll talk about, like...
That's a reasonable reaction for someone that likes more video games than you do.
Yeah, no, he likes it to the extent where, like...
Be vigilant.
It's never the game's fault. There's always something you, the player, can do better to make the game work better. And so, like, Heroes, for example, I'll be like, man, this character is garbage. And he's like, actually, this is how you have to play it. And then I was like, God damn it, Sohinki! Why can't you just agree with me? And he's like, well, you know, I've played a bunch of... Like, he's that guy. So when you get to Battlefront, for example, even though he is, like, I dislike all the monetization bullshit, he's like, when it comes down to the actual gameplay, I'm having fun, and here's, like, why. And he, like, is very... He can explain it, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, stop. Your enjoyment is killing me. Like, you're driving me crazy with how happy you are. Like,
Plătește-l pe Joe să apară în episodul de și așa faci vizui. Crede-mă pe mine, no, dude. Așa faci cancer, nu faci altceva așa. Trust me.
It is very quick. Like, no joke. In chapters 1 and 2, you are like super pro Empire. Chapter 3, you're like, fuck it, no, we're out. It's like, what? It is not good. It's not good storytelling. It is literally just there, just fan service. Fans like us who got everything because we knew what was going on. We were like, okay, this is like supplemental and kind of fun.
Okay.
But it's objectively a bad campaign. Yeah, it's the starfighting sequences were cool. They looked nice. I'm not sure that they played all that well. It makes me want a TIE Fighter game though, like an X-wing game. Like I want that.
We had those about 20 years ago.
Yeah, like it looks cool. Everything about it looks cool and sounds cool.
Well, I mean, it's DICE, of course. You know, that's what DICE does, right? They're always going to make good-looking and good-sounding games, but
I don't know. I couldn't tell if they got Billy D. Williams to play Lando, but like being Lando is cool. Like Lando's a badass, and like experiencing that is fun, but it's not. It's like they said, okay, let's just throw them the bone of the first time we didn't make a campaign. This time, let's give them something. But
that's literally the only reason. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. The game is just not a great game.
Salut, Ulf.
But yeah, we played it because that's like our thing. And I know like people have been shitting on me all week, just like, oh, you're the worst. It's like,
High Legion, High Legion, High Legion, High Legion, High Legion.
But like, I can't.
You're the worst for playing it at all.
Playing video games?
I have a question.
Yes.
How does it stack up to the original Battlefront 2 when that came out?
Man, the original Battlefront 2 had all the hype of like clone armies and shit in it. If you remember that, like, there was a lot there. I just don't. I don't remember. Like comparatively, I think original Battlefront 2 is better. But I don't like. That was a long time ago. I don't remember the exact vibe I had.
Fucking hell. Îmi distrug adoanele viața.
I wasn't too into it. Like I never was into. Like, it took me a while to get into like the PvP Star Wars stuff. I was very much like KOTOR and things like that. Yeah.
I personally have like zero experience with anything Star Wars outside of like watching the first movie, so honestly, outside of telling you that, I know that
Trebuie să vorbesc cu 3 băieți aici, țin minte. I remember. Trebuie să vorbesc cu tipul ăsta de aici.
It was
I believe.
It's basically the same thing.
No.
It's a really simple
God damn it.
blast 'em up, basically. You know, it's about as much of a shoot 'em up as you can get. There's very little strategy in it. There's very little aiming involved. There's not a lot of skill, not particularly high skill ceiling. It was designed to be a spectacle, right? It was a game that's like, you want to see the big ground battles or the big space battles? Well, this is a game in which you could do it in. Like, individually actually playing it, it wasn't that brilliant, but the feel of being in it was awesome.
Well, it came off of the hype that was, even though I say hype, and I mean this in the basest terms, because I hated it, but it comes off the hype of Attack of the Clones, or whatever the hell that movie was called. Send in the Clones. That whole movie was like a promotion for a game like this. The end of that damn movie where it's all the clones and the robots fighting, that's what this was. It was like, people wanted to feel that, like, I'm part of it! Which was a dark time for Star Wars.
Ishnu Allah.
Yeah. Oh, another question. I know the original Battlefront had the argument, like, your shots like go everywhere, they don't really feel like they actually shoot. Is that the same thing in this one too?
Kinda, to some extent. I mean, it's very arcadey aiming. Like it's not massively accurate.
Fuck.
Depends on the weapon you're using, obviously, but I mean, they designed a very arcadey game
Fuck.
with a pretty low skill
Mereu
ceiling
quest-ul ăsta de Hunter este oribil.
Which is probably why the first one sold as much
Fuck.
as it did. To be fair, the original Battlefronts were like that as well. Some people argue those Battlefronts had more content or whatever, they had more modes.
Uite, vezi și dispare, și dispare, și dispare, every fucking time dispare, dude.
Yeah, none of them were good modes.
There were
They just had a lot of things
Nu,
you could do.
n-am adoane activate. E doar annoying, e doar annoying. Uite, vezi, apare și dispare, apare și dispare.
This is probably why people dislike the new one so much. Like, oh, the technology is now here
Fuck
to
off.
build out
Uite-l.
those modes into something genuinely
Gata.
awesome, and they didn't. You know, they didn't do that at all. So, when the first one came out, the first new one, it didn't even have a proper Starfighter mode. You know, you had to wait for the DLC for that. And even that wasn't the same as what people wanted. It's like, oh, well, we wanted a mode where you start outside, and then you're bored, and then you do this.
Am apus pe Marksman.
So, I think it's a lot of wasted potential.
Ai, de ce sunt pe
There's definitely some
Marksman?
nostalgia goggles going on when it comes to Battlefront 2. I played it again recently. It's not that brilliant. It never really was. At the time, it was cool because of the scale of it and all that sort of thing. But
I'm not a marksman hunter. Fuck that shit.
Into what we have now technologically, and based on the lessons we've learned, and they didn't.
Speaking of scale,
Să vorbesc cu
even
băiatul
though
ăsta.
it's not the last level, it technically is the last level of
Și înainte să plec,
the Battle of Jakku,
o să-mi activez adoanele.
If you're like flying in your starfighter, then look up, there's like thousands of TIE fighters and X-wings and like just going at it. It is visually stunning. You're just like, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. There's all these like Star Destroyers and calamari crews. It's awesome looking. It sucks the game is garbage, but it's beautiful to look at. Like, it is so wonderful as a Star Wars fan to be like, oh, look at that. But playing it, you're just like, oof, this is
Dice in a nutshell.
So
they can be very pretty games.
This is more of a game for Star Wars fans and not so much people that don't really care about Star Wars.
I would say the gameplay itself and the PvP, I don't think it matters. If you're like a casual Star Wars fan, you'll probably love it. That's the reason why you have it anyway.
That's who they're selling it to, as far as I'm concerned. That's what they're aiming it at, which is probably why the first one sold 12 million fucking copies. It's very much aimed at the casual Star Wars fan, not someone who's necessarily a core gamer.
Yeah, and if you are like a super Star Wars fan, the campaign is really gonna make you happy. Not like you're not gonna enjoy it. You're not gonna walk away from the campaign like, wow, that was a good story.
It's gonna make you happy, but you're not.
Aleria's knowledge about the Legion could help us defeat them once and for all. Our goal is to reacquire a strategic asset, nothing more.
I should be going with you. If this is a trap, you need my bow covering your backs.
No, Orestes. I won't risk anyone else until we're certain Aleria's there. I do not trust the demon's word. This might be our only chance to save to retrieve a valuable ally.
Work complete.
Greetings. We stand together. Mage's Soul Gaze. Empower the portal crystal.
Never was very good at following orders. See you on the other side.
Orestes, you fool! Now we have 2 allies to rescue. Follow me in.
Bum, 2 aliați de salvat.
No sign of Orestes. He's headstrong, but should have the sense to wait here for us. Let's ascend the rise ahead and see what we're up against. A sentry. Destroy it before it warns the others.
Summoners, open a portal. We need reinforcements.
Oh, nu dau damage, dude. Și de ce, Aleria, tu de ce nu mă ajuți? Să-mi întrebări? Dacă îi tragi și tu cu arcul, aș aprecia. Hai lămau. Fii atent că mor aici, că n-am damage, n-am viață, n-am nimic. Hai lămau, ce damage dau ăștia. Ok. Ok. Are you fucking kidding me? Dar de fapt pot să mor că... I mean, I can die. Îmi dau release pe loc. Să-mi pun petul pe tank, dar nu cred că o să ajute cu nimic. Okay, let's try again. Tot agro pe petul meu, please. Tu nu mai casta aia. Ba da, ajută un pic. Oh my god, cât damage și-a petul. What the fuck, cât damage și-a petul.
Summoners, such determination. A pity you won't live to experience our glorious cathedral.
60 de k damage DC. E penal. E penal. E de-a dreptul penal, dude. Cât damage nu dau. Și uite cum se grăbește aleria. Cred că m-aș pe fața ei.
There, up ahead. It's Orestes.
Nu dau damage, prietene. I need items. Oh my god, mi-a murit lupul. Ok, ok. E bine că totuși poți să-ți dai revive instant, știi ce zic? Mis direct. Fucking pet tank care nu face agro. Na. Avea tontul pornit, de ce nu l-a dat? Na bine, să mai încercăm o dată. Uite cum fac agro. Pet, ești fucking useless. Ești fucking useless. Pun și mis directul pe el degeaba, ești nebun. Și ăștia-s doar mobi. Ăștia-s doar mobi. Hai de capul meu. Și acum, deci ăla a fost 1. Și aproape a murit. Și acum sunt 3 în față. Na bine. Alo, damage. Pet low viață. Acceleration? Măcar să omor unul. Până să moară petul ar fi ideal. Că îi dau eu revive acum, dar... Am mai supraviețuit un hit. Ok, și acum revive. A, și bineînțeles că am rămas cu agro de pe unul. Ok. This is fucking raid tactics ca să bați mobi de Legion. Tu glumești. Ce-ar trebui să fac? Să pun un tar trap pe jos? Ca să am timp să-mi dau revive la pet când o să moară încă un hit. Oh god. So annoying. Moare petul. Hai acum, dă-i. 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 God damn it. Și mai sunt 2. O să moară petul. Hai să mai dau un mend. Nu știu cât îi dau heal, 9k cu mendul? Și îl și-a bucăți de 20.000. Wow! Îți dai seama ce bucăți îmi iau eu?
How convenient. Your little brute will make an excellent meal for my hounds.
S-a trigăruit următorul checkpoint de la misiune.
Hardly more than a morsel, but I suppose you'll have to do.
Bine, făi. Oi, 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 ce damage îmi dă și asta în pet. De fapt, nu dă asta. Dă nenorocirile alea de aia 2 mici. Asta nu dă foarte... Aoleu, nevermind. Fuck, mi-am luat la barajul. Ok, am rămas fără pet. Cât de low sunt.
No, didn't make it to the cathedral. Wounds bad.
Orestes. So cold. Try to... Orestes!
Good luck, friends. Save Valeria.
Rest in the light, Orestes.
E, a murit ăsta și bine. Dar să nu mă ajuți, mă. Să nu mă ajuți, Varisa. Să nu mă ajuți.
Come. Let's find Valeria and finish this.
Da, 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 super, super. Telecomandă. Nu mai ca asta fel nimic. Auzi și că fel fireball. Lasă. Ce bucățișa petul? 12.000. Ok. Hai să-i dăm last stand-ul ăla. Da, mă, cică almost there. Da, dacă m-ai ajutat și tu, am fi, da. Pe tine te doare la bască. Cică almost there. Ok. Măcar barajul ăla dă mult damage. Wow. Pet miss. Ăștia dau mult damage. Gen tot damage-ul. O să-mi iau damage. O să mor. Sau nu? Ba, sunt toate șansele să mor acum. Sau? Nope. Cred că... Nope. N-am murit. Bulan. Oi, oi, oi. Interesantă expansiune so far. Cea mai nasoală chestie e că n-au mai băgat iteme de-alea de leveling. Faci level de 10 ori mai repede. Vrei să faci și iteme de 10 ori mai repede. Că ajungi în Legion și ți-o sugi că n-ai iteme. Efectiv ți-o sugi că n-ai iteme. Grav. Doamne, bă, mai sunt mulți mobi. Ăsta e boss. Mi s-a buguit baraj. Chiar mă stresează faptul că Aliria doar stă acolo și se uită la mine. Și ci că target not in line of sight. Acum trebuie să-l bat doar cu petul sau cum. Oh, da, și nu pot să stau nici lângă el să dau în el. Și dacă nu stau lângă el e out of line of sight. Dacă stau lângă el dă stomp. Deci nu pot să dau, decât de aici pot să dau în el. Și uite cât damage îmi dă cu ăla. De sub el pot să dau în el. Out of line of sight. Trebuie să stau efectiv în curul lui ca să pot să dau în el. Și nici așa nu merge mereu. Wow. Ce bullshit, ce căcat. Hai, mai taci dracu că mai umplu de nervi. Așa ziceam și eu. Target out of line of sight. A freeze la pet.
Valeria is here. She must be close.
N-am heal să-ți dau bossic. Și ăștia sunt imuni la freeze. Așa că o să mor și eu. Sau dacă mă duc destul de departe o să am timp să dau revive. So annoying. Just die. Just die. Just fucking die. Out of line of sight, no. Deci nu mai suport. Doamne, ce zonă. Ce quest, ce viață, ce căcat la tavă.
What have you done with Alaria, monster?
Mai contează.
Another windrunner for my collection. Oh, the secrets you confess to me.
Forget about me. Save Alaria.
The research should prove useful until she breaks. You, however, well, every mortal life must end.
Ce pot să fac aici? Să-mi dau turtle? Am petul mort. E well. E well. Super, 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 super. Și acum sunt mort. Deci eu acum sunt mort, dar am viață. Și acum tu vrei să-mi zici mie nu poți să dai în stack când ești mort. Dar poți să faci ceva când ești mort ca să-ți revii din starea de nemoarte. Că eu practic am rămas în combat cu ăștia și mai am 18 în viață, deși apare că sunt mort. Ok. Da, n-am. N-am cât să fiu. Da, un relog. Poate repar ceva cu relogul. Am înțeles, da. Deci cum mă spawnez, mor instant. Caterinca, știi care e? Că mă spawnez în viață. Dar oricum e fucking pointless pentru că am gear-ul mort. I have to do that shit again. De data asta o să încerc să ocolez toți mobii. Toți mobii pe care nu trebuie să-i omor. Ai. That is fucking bullshit, dude. Hey.
What can I do for you? See you soon. I've the finest wares in the land.
A, și fii atent că mi-am distrus și quest-ul. Deci dacă mi-am distrus și quest-ul, ar fi super. Dar nu cred că mi-am distrus quest-ul, stai așa. E posibil să pot să-l... A, da, trebuie să le iau de la capăt.
My bow is at the ready.
Super.
No sign of Orestes. He's headstrong, but should have the sense to wait here for us. Let's ascend the rise ahead and see what we're up against.
Summoners, open a portal.
Da.
We need reinforcements.
Sentry.
Trebuie să-l fac efectiv de la capăt, de la zero. Eu o să cad și de pe munte. Și uite cât damage nu dau, că nebunesc. My fucking god.
I don't have a target. I need a target.
nation. A pity you won't live to experience our glorious cathedral.
Come on. Come on.
There, up ahead. It's Orestes.
Doamne, cât damage dă mobul ăla. Nu înțeleg cum poate să dea atât de mult, cu ce dă atât de mult. A, bine că am tras 3. Da, super. Măcar de omor 1. Până moare pe tot dată și tot e bine. Pet miss într-una cu kill command, într-una. Deci nu dau numai miss-uri și immune-uri care sunt și mai cancer. Pet parry.
Enjoy it.
What? Well, because you have to understand fandom. When it comes to the stuff that you see in there, so everything that's happening is stuff that is in the books, but you have no visual representation of that. So, like when they talk about the Battle of Jakku in Aftermath, for example, you know what's happening, you know why it's happening, but you don't see it. And so, getting to see that's awesome. They talk about the Emperor's observatories. And there's all these observatories around the galaxy. You get to see that. When they talk about all these different like the Emperor has these red badass robots that are like his messengers. You get to see one of those in action. So like as a super fan, you get to see all these things finally, and because it's all canon, everything that's created is canon. Getting to see that's really cool. And getting to see the representation of like, oh, all this matters and still does. So I think that's awesome. The standalone story is garbage. It's not a story. It's literally just set pieces to show you these events that if you're a fan, you're gonna be like, oh, that's nice, that's cool. But there's no actual story there. It's not that great.
And the gameplay's not that great either. So really what you're saying is watch a Let's Play and don't pay money for this thing.
True. You should.
Fair enough. That sounds reasonable.
Talked about all of that, and we didn't even bring up, like, you know, the typical going for the obvious, like, out the game itself.
Because we've done it to death.
You've already got that? Okay.
Yeah, we did it to death over the last month. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. There's nothing else you can say about it. Yeah. It's about that.
Yeah.
I got a bit more Wolfenstein 2 done. I've been having problems with that game because it was crashing like a bastard. They managed to put a patch in the game that made it crash again, which isn't generally what gotta say, fucking Manhattan is one of the worst FPS levels I've played in years. It's terrible. It's legitimately awful. The reason it's bad is, well, one, it's browns. Like, there's that entire level is just rubble. It's all brown and grey, which actually makes it very difficult to navigate because you can't really navigate by any, say, color or texture or landmarks, because there literally are none of those things.
Why is this so fucking hard?
There are areas that look like you can pass over them, but actually you can't. Areas that look like you could jump down.
This should not be this hard.
Yeah, but actually are simply instant death traps and pits. The whole experience of that level was just a drag out, horribly paced
Pet Perry, pet miss.
waste of time.
I can't fucking hit a kill command, dude. What the
last game, which were very much like, it was an all-star class of being a awesome globe-trotting experience with really interesting level design and, you know, levels all around the world. This, oh Jesus, like it was just a genuinely really bad level. Apparently it's not the only one either. I've heard people have completed the game and said, you know what, like in terms of level design, this one's not as good as the first one. There are levels which were just not well put together at all. And you know what's really interesting is this game is really difficult. Yeah. I don't know if people, it's been mentioned by some people, but not all that many.
People have been saying it's more difficult than the first one, right?
You die really fucking fast in this game, which means that you have to generally play it as more of a stealth game, which was not the case in the first one. Run and gun was totally viable unless you're playing very much like the highest difficulty. This, even on normal, like the third difficulty up, you die really, really fast. And there's a few reasons for that, particularly that for story reasons that I will not explain, your health cap is 50, which is very low, but you can get a lot of armor. You can get armor up to 200. And there's also the good old overcharge mechanic, which was in the first, where you can pick up and you can go past 50, but it will quickly then go back down to whatever your base health is. That involves scrabbling around for health kits and pieces of armor fucking all over the place, because for some inexplicable reason they decided that auto pickup for armor was something they didn't want in the game. So you have to individually run around slamming the E key to pick up every little shred of fucking armor that you can find.
Oh, that's not fun.
No, this is
now,
bullshit.
For med kits, it makes sense because of the overcharge mechanic. You wouldn't necessarily want to burn a med kit at a certain time. So, okay, cool. That's fine. But for armor, there's no disadvantage to having a lot of armor. So you'd want auto pickup, particularly because the armor often comes off, especially with the larger troops, in pieces. So there's like, you kill one of the big troops with, say, the diesel gun, there might be 3 or 4 little pieces of armor scattered around the place. So you have to just keep hammering the E key, trying to find whatever the fuck you can. It's awful. It's a pain in the ass. Apparently there was an auto pickup radius, but it's so fucking small that it doesn't matter.
That's weird that they would, like, take out something. Because you said it wasn't like this in the first one, right?
Well, the first one had the whole scrabbling around as well, but there was a lot less of it, mostly because you didn't have this 200 armor cap. So you're scrabbling around a lot more, and because your base health is really, really fucking low, you need to keep your armor up, because if you don't, you're at it's a couple of shots, you're dead. 50 health, that's nothing. Splat, you're gone. You die really quick.
Okay, so this all sounds well and shit. Do you like the game?
I did up to that point. It was going. It was going pretty well up to that point.
You're actually enjoying the game.
People are saying, "Oh, you can pick up armor by walking over it." As I said before, the pickup radius is fucking tiny. Like you can walk over things and not have it pick them up. You generally have to spam E to reach. If like the thing is, it's like this is BJ Blazkowicz. This is the random piece of armor. There we go. I'm standing here. The armor doesn't pick up. Like usually games will have like a radius where it sucks up collectible items. You gotta be right on fucking top of it. And a lot of these pieces of armor are not big. They're tiny little shreds, like a little helmet or just a little shred of a piece of armor that's come off somebody. They're a pain in the ass to gather. I don't know why they decided to make that the case. it's annoying as shit. It fucks up the pacing of the game pretty badly, because you're often scrabbling around to try and find things. And also, like, the way that this level in particular had enemies spaced out, I was grabbing health kits to overcharge, and then my overcharge was just burning off before I even came across an enemy, because there's no indicator really of when you're going to come across the next set of enemies. So unless you can see them right there, you know, I'm about to go to a fight, there happens to be a med kit right here, because you can't pick them up and keep them. No, you've got to pick them up right there. Then you can pick it up, overcharge yourself, and by the time you reach the enemy pack, your health is gone again. And I say this as someone who is maxed out already on the perk, which makes that health go down slower. It barely helps.
Okay, so what you're saying is it sounds like it would be a lot better if, for one, they made the auto pickup radius like a bit bigger, you know, like kind of like Unreal Tournament where you
they should make it a lot bigger.
And like say like maybe you could store like 2 med kits or something.
That would be good. Yep.
Perfect, right?
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, there's a story reason for your health being as low as it is.
Is it because you're old? That's just my guess.
No,
okay.
It's something else. I don't want to ruin it.
An old ass man.
Very much happens in the first half an hour of the game. Okay. Yeah. It's not ideal. And that, as I said, that level was badly designed. And there's a weird thing about it. You can actually move very, very fast in this game. But all the levels I've played so far, there's not been a single piece of open space where that will be useful. So, you being able to run really quickly doesn't really matter, because it's a lot of corridors. Lots of corridors, actually. Like, more than I remember out of the first one. I have not encountered that many interesting things up to this point, I have to say. Like, the characterization, great. Good cutscenes, yep. BJ is the least interesting character, but everyone around him is really, really cool.
The way, dude.
Yeah,
you know, the little sort of home base area you have is awesome, and there's a lot of character there. But so far, like, it's been really spotty. You know, it's been all over the place. If this was a good level, this was a shit level. It's not consistently good.
Since you loved the first one so much.
Yeah, I need to go further in. If it stops crashing, then I can keep going further in, and hopefully that'll be alright. But yeah, it's a lot more inconsistent than the first one I found. And like I said, the game, you will actually have more fun in that game if you turn the difficulty down. Like, if you want to play a run and gun Wolfenstein game, you're going to have to turn that difficulty down, because you will not survive otherwise. You just won't.
Is there any like unique things about it? Like, I know the first Wolfenstein New Order, it had like that laser thing where you like cut stuff like that. Is there
that's still
like that
in
this game?
I mean, that's still in. There's nothing I've really come across that's that interesting. Like, the weapon upgrade system's kind of the same. Quite a lot of the upgrades are not that interesting either, which is unfortunate. I mean, apparently you can ride a robotic dog that breathes fire at some point. I haven't got to that point yet, but yeah, not really. No. Yeah, it's pretty much more the same for the most part.
Well,
shit.
Yeah, not brilliant. Like, it might have been, they should have maybe had a look at Doom and maybe learned a few lessons from that, but they didn't. So, yeah, it's not, I don't rate it so far anyway as good as the first one by a long shot. I'm hoping it improves. Definitely hoping it gets better.
Yet to play Doom. Is that still worth playing?
You're fucking kidding me? It's amazing.
It's like a good time.
So good.
All right, I'll fucking play it already.
Yeah, you should. Doom is fucking incredible.
It's on Switch now, isn't it?
I wouldn't play it on Switch.
I mean,
so you want to play about?
Go, dude.
Yeah, but 25 frames a second? Nah.
Yeah, you're right.
Alright, you want to crank that shit up, play at 200 FPS with a fucking mouse and keyboard and be a badass. That's the way to go.
Good deal.
Doom is cool. What else have we been playing? Anyone got anything else you want to throw in the ring?
I started to build the Elizabeth Tower out of Legos with Octopimp.
That's not a game.
Okay.
Any other video games?
A game of life.
No.
I just beat Super Mario Odyssey. That was fun.
Alright, tell me about
Dude,
that.
that game is fun, man.
Oh, it was so good. Like, I mean, okay, we all remember Super Mario 64.
Take us back, Cry. Take us back to a better time.
Take us back to the time when Blockbuster was still around. To a time where, you know, we would go to Walmart with our moms and we would just sit in the electronics aisle playing that demo kit.
That's the realest. That's the realest shit there ever was.
Good fucking shit while she went off to go shop for clothes or some crap you didn't care about. You just wanted to hang out in the electronics aisle. And there was this line, and you were just sitting there playing the whole time. All these other kids are like, "Come on, fuck, man, I want to get on there." But they didn't say fuck. Back then they said butthead or something like that. Good times though. So they took that nostalgia and that feel for that original Super Mario 64, and they're just like, let's bring it to 2017. These people deserve this. So I really love the fact that they did not. I believe Jim actually mentioned this recently, Sterling. He said that they did not rush this game to have it as a launch title. They made sure to put as much effort and polish into this game as possible. I didn't see a single issue with the game. Everything felt fluid. There was always something new waiting for me in the next world or kingdom we would go to. The post game, there's so much content. Like, there's still more stuff I haven't even done, but I feel like I am satisfied even without finishing the game. Like, all of it, like 100%. That, I don't know, like, I feel like if you're a Mario fan or even just a platformer fan, it's worth a shot if you haven't played it. And there's dogs. You can run around with a little dog. Dogs. I like dogs.
True. True.
And you can have a water.
Still haven't got around to playing it. Honestly,
it's really
Mario's never kind of really been my thing. I've barely played Mario games, honestly.
I don't blame it. It's usually not everyone's thing. I personally haven't really been in Mario for probably since.
For fuck's sake, Varisa, come on.
Really, like I never really got around to
days, years, centuries.
Got around to getting into.
The mage was right. Time has little meaning in this
place. But this one is just like, it works. It really just like everything. If I see a jump, I'm like, I can jump that, and then I jump, and then it feels so.
There.
That's what everyone says. Everyone says like anything you want to do, you can do in this game.
Yeah.
Tazdora.
You can, it feels
Haide,
so free. It's
dă-mi-l.
kind of like Breath of the Wild. How there was like that sandbox.
Fucking dă-mi-l odată.
Alaria was here. Those presents
So you froze to death or burn alive?
She escaped, and the
Yes,
Inquisitor
there's none of
sought
that
to
in
use
this
me to lure her
Mario
back.
unaffected by weather. It's true.
Thasdora
And
began
once you beat
as
the
my
game, I'm not
family's
gonna spoil
legacy.
it, but
To purpose. This
Gimme.
is a bow worthy of a hero like Alaria. A hero like you. Take Thasdora, champion. Use it to lead the fight to save Azeroth.
For fuck's sake, woman, give it to me already.
I know Alaria's bow is in the right hands.
Find the invaders! Retake the cathedral! Slaughter them all!
Sounds like we're about to be overrun. Let us leave this wretched place to the demons. Greetings. The Legion must be stopped.
Fucking finally, dude. Am item level 455, este nebun. Tu știi ce înseamnă 455? Înseamnă -1. Înseamnă plastic 3. Aia înseamnă. Plastic 3 înseamnă. Unde dracu-i Varisa? What the actual fuck, dude?
Ishnu dal diem.
How may I help? Greetings. Till next we meet.
Fucking finally.
Work complete.
Ishnu, please walk with me, Hunter.
Great to meet you.
I broke the game. Okay.
Off with you.
The Unseen Path was founded after the War of the Ancients to safeguard the people of Azeroth. From these broken isles, we watched for the Legion's return. As we arrived here to build the True Shot Lodge, the Eagle Spirit, Onara, appeared and gave her blessing. From that day forth, we called this mountain Talon Peak.
Talon Peak.
Over the centuries,
Baladash,
most of my
Malor.
fellow watchers have been lost. The few of us remaining sought out heroes worthy to heed the call when the unseen path was needed once again.
The Silver Covenant stands with you.
The Fast Riders vow to fight at your side.
The unseen path is reborn.
Gay.
Work complete.
The unseen path will continue.
My
Our
bow is
duty
at the ready.
The Fast
all
Riders
of
stand ready.
Azeroth. We are the Watchers in the wild. We are the eagle on the wind.
We are the eagle on the wind.
We walk the lonely road.
We walk the lonely road.
Work complete.
For ours is the unseen path. The hour of battle is at hand.
Oof, finally. Got over that shit. Da fuck.
Well met. Goodbye. Ancestors watch me. Work complete. How may I aid you? Go in peace.
Glory to the Sindorai.
Work complete.
The hour of battle is at hand.
Anaria Shola.
Trebuie să aștept 50 de secunde oricum. ...38, 37... 5 ore.
Once you beat the game, you'll have a. If you did play Super Mario 64, you have a huge surprise, happy time waiting for you there. Just saying.
I was spending a lot of time just staying in one area trying to get all of the moons until Gerard was like, a bunch of those moons you can't get until you beat the game, so don't bother. I was like, okay.
Oh hell. Yeah, it's
Also,
big game.
we talk about the burgeoning, developing relationship between Bowser and Mario. Two of them, they've been fighting so long. All they see is
That
each
hate
other.
has turned into love.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I
can
think
love
so.
bloom
I'm
on the
fine with it.
battlefield? Is the question.
I think that they just need to work out some kind of like religion with Peach.
That's already. Let's be real. That's a shared relationship. Let's not joke each other there.
You're
We
right.
all know what's happening.
You're right.
Yeah.
I actually went and got the amiibos. They're all like wedding
They're all. They all come together. All three of them are. And they're all in wedding outfits. Yeah, that is.
It's amazing. And you can you get the costumes in the game too. Like if you get the Peach wedding outfit, it's Mario in a wedding dress.
And Bowser's like, looking good, Mario. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely, he's looking good.
Yeah.
So psyched.
It's freaking awesome, man.
Like, ooh, Mario, I'd marry you. And he's like, oh, Bowser, give me a smooch. And then they kiss. The end. And it's like,
Best Mario game.
yeah, I'm in.
Being someone that doesn't care about any of those things, like has no connection to Mario whatsoever. Really no emotional investment.
All I'm saying is, you don't know the Japanese version of the game. I'm just having played Final Fantasy 15 and seeing the changes they made between the English and Japanese version. I believe now firmly that the Japanese versions are much more in touch with their feelings because, y'all, I'm gonna say this again. There's a moment in Final Fantasy 15 where Noctis says to his best buds, they've been through hell, they've been through shit, and in the American version he's like,
farewell, hail.
You're my best friends, guys. In the Japanese version he's like, I love you.
Hello.
Why can't he say it in the American version?
I didn't know that. That's cute.
It angers me. It angers me. So all I'm saying is, in Mario, you know, at the very end, Bowser and Mario, instead of being like, we're mortal enemies, are like, you know what? After all these years, I think I love you. I love you too. But let's keep up appearances for Peach. Peach is like, what's going on, boys? They're like, nothing, just fighting. Smooch, smooch, smooch. Yeah, I guarantee that's what's happening.
Oh dear.
Go in.
I can't say this has convinced me to play the game at all, but.
Random note.
You get to dress up Mario in all kinds of different outfits.
But I don't care about Mario as a character, so why would I want to do that?
But there's also the feature of you have the 3D Mario, but it also easily transitions into 2D.
Oh, come on.
And they feel so good, and you'll thank me.
Ok, fie. Leatherworking cu enchanting atunci.
You'll call me up on my cellular device.
I do like the 2D sections, yeah.
Unde era enchanting?
Also, I feel like TV represents the no one gives a damn about Mario.
Yeah, he's just a freaking generic dude with a
yes, people care about like the world. Like I don't know anyone who's like
feeling to playing a Mario game.
Yeah, same with Zelda. Like I don't know anyone who's like, man, Link. Link represents me. Like no, it's just the vibe of like I'm back in the world of Zelda, and I'm in Hyrule. And, like let's go on an adventure, and it never has anything to do with like Link. Nintendo captures that where Nintendo creates the Twilight of video games, right? The Twilight books and all the teen novels, the teen romance novels, always have the girl who can be any girl, right? She's so nondescript and plain, anyone can fit into that character. I feel like that's Link, and I feel like that's Mario, and I feel like that's like sort of you can be them and enjoy this world, and you don't have to give a damn about
Also, there's like no freaking exposition. You get right in there. They don't bear you down with a bunch of story.
That is true.
It's just
I disagree that anyone plays the Mario games feeling like they are.
Mario is Bella, is what I'm saying.
Mario is not Bella. Mario is not Bella.
Maybe I just relate to being a fat plumber. Sorry, Dodger. Fuck. Shit. Maybe I like a pasta and a pizza.
It's a me. Just a guy.
Where's the Irish version? Like, I want the potato.
Is that your Irish accent?
No, that's Irish.
The Irish are coming for us.
Here in good old Ireland.
Dear God, we'll be right back after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-optional
Puteți să stăm pe Skype
podcast.
acum dacă vrei, da?
I stand by what I said. Never mind. I stand by what I said.
We're complaining about gaming news sites.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
I stand by what I said. I was saying Kotaku's nothing but ads now. I stand by that.
It's true.
Try opening a fucking PC Gamer on a mobile phone. It just hijacks your whole browser. It's like, oh, you want to read a thing? Here's a full page of something completely different that you can't escape from. It's horrendous.
Oh, by the way, the sidebars of this are an ad, and if you click on them, then we're going to take you to a completely different website.
Yeah. So I like it when like the whole site is skinned as an ad for a game or something like that. It's like, yeah, okay, right. You're pushing it a little bit here.
Sponsored. Oof.
Yeah. Past to the point of reasonable. What you got?
Do you know if there's any actual news this week? Because we can't find
Not really.
I can't see any.
There's very, very little. There was an interesting rumor that's turned into a discussion as a result of Northern Lions podcast, actually, if I recall correctly.
Bine, babe, te pupic.
I believe, yeah, it was. It was Edmund McMillan was on the show. If I recall
Creator
correctly.
of Binding of Isaac and Meat Boy.
Plenty of people, yes.
Indeed.
I feel like he's putting the time to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Borderline?
He's
more than
putting
anyone
putting
else
about
deserves that
2,000
interview.
episodes of it. Yeah, sure. Now, what came out of that was that Ed made a claim that one of the lead devs of Plants vs. Zombies, when asked to do Plants vs. Zombies 2, which, as you're probably aware, was a free-to-play game, objected to the kind of pay-to-win in-app purchase business model.
Oh yeah, I read this.
And
yeah,
as a result of objecting to that, was fired, is the claim made.
By EA?
By EA.
The Electronic Arts?
Yeah, that would be so out of character for them, wouldn't it?
Yeah. They would never take something from someone, destroy it, and then get rid of that person. That's wacky, TB.
They care for
Wacky.
the consumer, man.
Yeah. The person in question was the creator of Plants vs. Zombies, George Fan. And he was part of a 50-person layoff at the dev studio in 2012. And Ed's claim is that he was basically shit canned for that. Now, there's been an update as of today where Mr. Fan responded on Twitter.
What the fuck?
Yes and no. So he said, regarding recent rumors, it is true I was laid off of EA and PopCap. And it is also true that I was against making Plants vs. Zombies a freemium game. That's all I say on the matter for now. So he's saying those two things, but he is not confirming...
The paperwork I signed upon leaving prevents me from saying any more.
The NDA that I signed, possibly. You know, it is a case of those two things are true, but is one of them the reason for the other?
Right.
That's a different matter entirely.
Right.
We'll never know that because that's, I guarantee, he signed away all sorts of stuff to make a sum of money upon leaving.
If he had some kind of settlement or golden parachute out of it, then sure. If he hadn't, then I don't know what kind of NDA he could have possibly signed in a being fired situation that would prevent him from saying that. It's also possible that he's just not choosing to confirm it for whatever reason. You know, maybe he just doesn't want to drag EA into that. Maybe he doesn't want to be known as somebody that's
a rabble-rouser in the industry?
Yeah, perhaps a rabble-rouser. You know, it could affect his potential career prospects.
Yeah,
as for objective,
future CEO of EA, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Correlation does not equal causation necessarily, but it can. We just don't really know. But his objection to changing Plants vs. Zombies around, I think, was a valid one. It's actually the reason I never played PvZ2. PvZ1 was a nice budget PopCap game, like $10, a cool tower defense. PvZ2, well, we're gonna make it free and put a bunch of timers on it and put a bunch of huge amount of content gating, all sorts of nonsense, which ground the game. No, not at all. And this would hardly be the first time that EA has taken a game and made it far less fun as a result of their business model. See Battlefront, see Need for Speed Payback, see an awful lot of their freemium games prior to that. They have some pretty damn nasty freemium models, and they annoy people to the point of either quitting or giving them money. And they don't really care if people quit, because they're, again, reliant on this 1% of people who are going to give money. I mean, you know, PvZ1, $10 product. PvZ2, you could potentially spend hundreds of dollars on this damn thing. Which is a real fucking shame. Because as a game, if you took all that freemium shit away, it's a better game than the first one. It has more variety, more stuff, more complexity. But the business model is obnoxiously horrible.
Yeah, there's actually, I think in relation to that, there's an idle game that announced that they're not going to be free to play.
Clicker Heroes 2, if I recall correctly. Yeah, their original game, as you might imagine, was a free. It was a free to play game. You know, all of these idle games and clicker games generally are, for the most part. It's very, very rare not to see one. You know, it's like Space Plan was probably the only one I could think of that wasn't, and that was like a couple of dollars. They decided the sequel will be a $30 one-off payment with an option for a full refund for a year after it comes out for anybody that pre-orders, which is interesting that they would offer that.
Yeah, for a whole year, that's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, and what's interesting, of course, is that Clicker Heroes, if I recall correctly, was obviously big on mobile. Charging that amount on mobile for a game is usually setting yourself up to fail big time.
Yeah.
In a huge way. So, their reliance on, I think, people mostly on Windows, you know, on Steam, being willing to buy this. Because I don't think you're going to see that many people buy that on mobile. I mean, people object to paying $2 for a game and then spend $10 on their cup of coffee. You know, the mobile market is not fertile for premium gaming, which has caused a lot of problems.
Yeah, like, I think a lot of people see the $30 price tag and be like, that's pretty pricey, but then they don't really realize how much they really put into freemium games.
Yeah,
like, without even realizing it, you could put in, like, easily $100 over the course of, like, a few months.
Thousands.
Oh,
I mean, it's not hard. Unlocking I can't think of a case where unlocking stuff like through micropayments, and I think we've got past the point we even call them micropayments at this point, would ever like match up to the cost of a $60 regular game. No, these are hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and most of the time there's so much content in the game you'll never get it all. No chance. The amount, how much does it cost to buy all the heroes in League of Legends? Thousands?
Oh yeah.
What about all the cards in Hearthstone? Definitely thousands. You can see why the business model is the way that it is, because in the case of a $60 game, everybody plays the same price. In the case of these freemium games, some people are going to play for free, some people are going to pay a little bit, and then some people are going to pay a lot. And there are some cases where that free-to-play business model is very consumer-friendly, and it lets you go at your own pace. And it's great that there are really high-quality free games that people can play. You don't have a lot of money? Well, there's plenty of options. You don't have any money? Go play fucking Warframe and League, and you never have to pay a penny. But if you actually want to acquire the content at a reasonable speed, though, you got to be paying far more than the penny.
That would actually be a good idea. If like they were selling it for $30, but that'd be a good idea if they had it for $30 and you got the Steam and the mobile version of the game. Maybe that would be a nice idea to get more people like being like, okay, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, cross-platform. I mean, I know some people do play clicker and idle games on PC quite a lot. You know, because you can have it in a window, you can have it on your second monitor.
Yeah.
I mean, Dodger, you played a ton of.
162 hours. I saw it.
162 hours of some clicker game?
No.
What? She wouldn't do that.
Yes.
But I also left it on over a holiday to see how how much time would get racked up if I just let it go.
Sure.
Was it worth it?
It keeps being brought up as an example when we talk about clicker games, so I think it was worth it.
Oh. It is your $60 cake, is what it is. We all have our thing.
$60 cake.
It's your $60 cake. Yeah.
Yep.
Damn good cake.
Except mine was free.
Thanks, Cookie Clicker. You really started a freaking
Is time free though?
No.
When I'm literally not at the computer, yeah, time is free.
It's an interesting choice of a game to go that route, though, like, isn't it? There are definitely other games where I could see it being a much easier sell. I mean, hell, we talked about Battle Right earlier. It's a free-to-play game, but you can buy all the content that matters in the game, as in stuff that affects the game, for $30. Now and forever. So you got that option. That's good. I mean, that's consumer-friendly, right? You can buy in, or you can earn over time. That's good.
Yeah, they give you a lot of chests too, as well. So like you're always like gonna be getting.
Always good to get a lot of chests in your game. Tend to find.
Yeah, you love chests, right?
Indeed, I love chests.
I do.
In particular, of all sizes, really, regardless of what they contain.
Look, I had to slip in there and make that joke before Jesse did.
He just wasn't quick enough.
You beat me to it. I'm
in
getting
his old
I'm
age.
getting too old.
Yep.
That was a solid innuendo. I should have jumped on it.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, you know what? They're right. I like it when the chests contain different items.
When I get a chest with items in it.
I do enjoy chests with items in them. Yes.
Tell me more about your epic chest.
Chest jokes will always and forever make me think of Dark Souls. Epic chest ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the way to go.
It's a goof.
Nice goof.
Nice
Yeah.
goof. Whoever thought of epic chest ahead is a good goof.
I want to know how well this model does. Like, they have a very large player base. Clicker Heroes is a very, very popular game. How many people can they convince to buy in rather than go free on it? And more to the point, how many people can they sort of convert? People that may have probably spent hundreds of dollars over time on Clicker Heroes to spend $30 now and then spend nothing else. A lot of it is a weird, you know, you don't really realize over time, you know, that's the insidious nature of a lot of free-to-play games. It's little, you know, it's $3 here, $5 there, and it racks up quickly.
Like, I think in the long run they're gonna make a lot less money, but I think
probably
it makes sense still because, like, you know, it's they even made a little like letter for, you know, it's a moral thing, you know.
Yeah, they said it was an ethical thing, you know. They say, look, you know, we had players who spent thousands, great, but they don't want that kind of money if it came from anyone that regrets their decision or it made their lives significantly worse. I mean, you know, they're talking about people who get addicted to this kind of thing and just keep paying. You know, it's an infinite black hole in which you can throw money into. Nice thing about a lot of games is, well, no, there's a cap as to how much money you could throw at it.
I mean, is it just me, or I just don't fully understand why so many companies want more and more money? Is there not just like a satisfied amount of money?
No, of course there isn't. They want all the money. There's no limit.
It's so crazy.
That's called shareholders. They want they want value out of it.
Everybody always wants more success, even if it's like a fallacy the more that you think about it. Even if when you like really consider it, you can say to yourself, I make plenty of money to have a nice, reasonable life. I think people always still want to be more successful.
Some cases, but I think with people in general, that's not, you know, people can be content. Companies, they're actually legally obligated not to be content. You know, if they have shareholders, they're legally obligated to continue to make money for their shareholders. Right. They don't have a choice in the matter.
So if they don't have shareholders, they can be chill about it then?
Yeah, you know, there's the Valve is a private company. They don't, you know, they don't have shareholders. They're not tradable on the stock market. They don't have to answer to them, so they don't have to do a lot of the crazy stuff that other companies do. And yeah, Valve makes money hand over fist, and they will come up with other ways to do it. But private companies have a bit more flexibility in that respect. But EA, no, you know. That said, it's not like you have to be completely evil if you're a publicly owned company. No, you don't. There are definitely things that can push it way too far. And that's what we see with EA. And actually, that kind of scares the shareholders. You know, when there's a lot of nasty press going around, yeah, you can see stock prices fall. That's not what they want. So
buy EA stock now. Go, go, go.
No, don't do that.
I know.
Terrible advice. Terrible advice.
Trust me, don't ever take stock advice from me.
No, I wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't. I never would question that. No.
Jesse's face was so good.
I know nothing about stocks.
I would never. I would no. There's a million better stocks. Why? No.
Not reliable. Not at all. Yeah, I'll be intrigued. I will hopefully see a post-mortem of this later on once they've launched. It's like, hey, did this actually work? Kind of neat if it did. I'd love to see a switch back from quite a lot of companies, but it's a very tempting business model. You know, you take away the barrier to entry, which means you can have a large player base. That's good. It's generally good for the player base in particular. You can essentially get an infinite amount of money. There's the potential for an infinite amount of money, you know, because it's like there's no way you don't stop spending. You don't just pay once and then that's it. For some companies, it definitely doesn't work because they don't get enough players, they don't get enough whales, you know, it doesn't work out for them. But the mobile market is continuing to prove that free-to-play business model is worth a huge amount of money. So it's going to be difficult to convince people to switch back to something that is more reasonable. We got anything else on the news front? There's not a lot. It's been a fairly quiet week. There was was a
poker if you want.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we'll be playing Jackbox Party Pack 2 directly after the stream, so keep an eye on that. We'll be hanging around to do that. At least some of us will be. There was a quick update by Valve saying that they're going to be working on trying to make helpful reviews more helpful and make it obvious that which reviews are relevant, which are not. They didn't exactly say how they're going to be doing that. They're mostly just going to be changing the algorithm. But there have been complaints lately that the most helpful reviews have been out of date for the most part, and they're looking to push reviews that are truly reflective of the game's current state, which is very important considering we have games in various states of development.
I mean, this might seem kind of roundabout, but couldn't you, like, say, I want to see the most helpful reviews, and then couldn't there be a drop down that would be like, put these in order from most recent to least recent?
I believe they already do that, but they want to...
Then what y'all complaining about?
Well, apparently because it's not enough, it would seem. Like, they're going to use a new method of calculating the helpfulness of each review, taking into account the users that are trying to manipulate the system. And they're going to be counting the helpful ratings on reviews differently for users that are far outside the norm. So apparently there are people trying to mess with this system, and they're going to be trying to counteract that. And they're going to be showing the default helpful, positive, and negative reviews in a similar proportion to the overall review score of the game. So if the game is reviewed positively by 80% of reviewers, then the default store page reviews will show 80% positive reviews. So like 8 positive reviews and 2 negative ones. So I don't know, it's a lot of under the hood stuff. I think there's obviously quite a lot that can be done with Steam reviews. They're not ideal. There's plenty of junk there. I would like...
memes.
There's a lot of that, yeah. And of course there is the issue of a game does something super wrong and then it gets review bombed, which has an effect even if they fix that the next day, and that shit hangs around for ages, and that's not then helpful to the consumer because it's not representative of what the game actually is now.
Yeah.
So that's an issue as well. Not to mention, you know, the agenda-driven stuff like the Chinese in particular brigading games that don't have Chinese translations. So there's issues with that.
Thing?
Yeah, it's actually a big thing. Well, right now, English speakers are not the top users of Steam. Steam has exploded in China over the last couple of years.
Just look at some of the releases that you see on the release list every week. Some of them are just like no English language support.
Yeah, quite a lot of that.
Yeah, and I mean, PUBG is bigger in China than anywhere else, right?
Yep. A lot of bot farming going on with that, but we don't know how many actual real players. But
yeah,
that's true. There's just
vastly more people.
Yeah, pretty much.
They win on that one.
You know what? Yeah, true.
Why don't they just do something like Amazon where they just have a separate Chinese website with the Chinese supported games?
I don't know.
It just sounds like a simple idea to me, but I guess I'm
Steam.ch. I don't know that.
I don't know how it works, honestly.
I don't know either, but it just sounds right?
I feel like that would be sort of counterproductive because there are lots of games that come out in, say, using Chinese as an example, come out in Chinese and eventually have an English release, and that way it's all on one page and you can choose which one you want.
Also, I think service providers and the government and all that stuff handles what they can see and what they can't see over there anyway, so I don't think Steam needs to. Valve doesn't need to do that because it's already being done.
Okay, what about like a filter to just show Chinese supported games like languages and shit?
I guarantee that is like a language filter.
That's got to be in there. That must
has
be in
to be
there.
there.
It's like I've never had any reason to actually
Steam,
check.
Pretty sure it's there.
Nah, it's got to be that, surely. Yeah, outside of that, there's really not been all that much going on this week, frankly. Not much to talk about.
Yeah, man, it's
been quiet.
This is the way the news works is always the same. Nothing. A shit ton of stuff one week.
Yeah.
Then nothing for another 3 weeks.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, it does seem to come in waves, right? There'll be a wave of just like, there's so much going on right now. Sometimes it correlates with events, but sometimes it doesn't.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just been a quiet week in general, which I suppose is a good thing. We're sort of winding down the year, really.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. Yeah, we've had enough crap go on this year.
We have, yeah.
Fuck, this year sucked.
Well,
It
for
was
some
horrible.
things, it certainly didn't suck for video games. There's been some.
That's true. They had good releases, but like,
yeah,
events-wise, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
All I'm saying.
People are saying PSX. I forgot that PSX happens.
That happened weeks ago.
It's gonna be
Isn't
cool.
that like a
I
month
just don't
ago?
know.
Oh no, that's called something different, right? The PSX is still to happen, right?
Yeah, it
On the
happens
9th
beginning
of December. Yeah.
What the hell else are they gonna show? Didn't they just
Completely
show
out
a
of the
bunch
loop.
of stuff?
What are we talking about?
PlayStation Expo.
Oh, okay.
It's always super fun. It's really cool. I just don't. I'm not sure what there's to show. Detroit and.
I mean, yeah, didn't they just show all the shit? We just had an event a month ago with all that.
I'm very interested in seeing what they show off. I feel like this year has been a lot of really cool releases, but what is there left to show off at conventions and exhibit halls? Like, I just don't know anymore. Besides indie games, all the major stuff comes next year.
Yeah, you know, it's generally December releases are not really a thing, for the most part. But yeah, there'll be like the PlayStation Expo and the Game Awards are all around that same time, so December 7th to December the 10th. As for our own awards, of course, the co-opties, we'll be having those at some point in December. That's all your usual 2 episodes of category after category after category of nonsense, usually.
Sexiest redhead, Aloy, winner.
We've already got 2 categories.
Best murder of robots, Aloy, winner.
You know, I feel
Best
like
open world game, Aloy, winner. Not Horizon Zero Dawn, Aloy, the game. I don't know the name of that game. I just know it's called Aloy, the game.
damn.
Aloy and Jesse kill robots, the game.
I'm sure we'll come up with some great categories. It'll be happening some point in
My
December.
category from last week that TB helped me name is best game featuring insects. Got it.
What? Did I?
Hollow
remember
Knight.
that.
Got it.
Oh.
Oh
okay.
yeah, that game existed.
It did.
I want someone to be like, no, this other game with insects was far superior.
I mean, there's probably
at
at
you.
least another game that has insects in it at some point in 2017, right? Gotta be.
My family. I'm so sorry. That was about to be a complete topic change.
I was like,
Keep
what
talking
the
about
fuck are you about to say?
What?
Probably nothing to
family-
do with that.
We live in the middle of the woods, right? So my family set up a bunch of like cameras all over the house,
Creepy,
and
okay.
this is the office. And so like if I just look up that way, I can see the feed of all of the cameras. So I was seeing like, oh, Sam and my dad are hanging out. That's sweet. And I just saw that like my mom just got home with the groceries. It's just like creepy.
That's creepy to me.
It's like that movie Sliver. Go look it up, kids. That's from 1992.
Okay.
So yeah,
Cool.
it's just like watching.
That's
everybody
creepy.
live their
That's
life.
creepy.
It's weird. Yeah.
That's very creepy.
Cool. Your creepy cabin in the woods murder house is gonna be
Yeah.
very interesting.
Nobody's gonna murder us in here, man. We got cameras.
Yeah, that really helped.
What if you watch a murder happening on the camera? That'd be creepy as
Oh my god, then you can't do anything because you're trapped in there. Oh, it's even worse.
Oh god, fuck that shit.
Oh, you just set
Then
yourself
all
free
the lights
worse
go out
to-
afterwards.
Oh no, and then they come for you.
Holy shit, you're
You guys know this is a farm, right? There's lots of found objects that can easily be weapons around here.
Are you in a found objects game right now?
Look, if Jackie Chan was here, this house would be a murder factory.
If Jackie Chan was here, this
Yeah.
house would be a murder factory. I don't think you need Jackie Chan.
Where are we even now?
If
Like-
Jackie Chan
You know
was
how
here,
every
this
Jackie
house would be
Chan
murder
movie, there's
factory.
A lot of him just like grabbing things and killing people with them.
This is what happens when there's no news going on.
This house would be a murder
Let's
factory.
move on to releases,
comma.
shall we? Let's do that. Because I don't even know where this came from or where it intends on going, but I'm putting a stop to it. Oh, Lord. Right. We do have some game releases coming out, as it turns out. So let's have a gander at some of those. Starting on November the 21st. Pointed out by Cry, the world of Final Fantasy has made it to PC.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon, where you stack the Pokemon on your head. Like cats.
Is kind of like that, yes. Bad news, the port's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so unless you're tolerant of 30 FPS, it literally doesn't have a full screen mode at all, and it's It's Square Enix Japan. I don't know what you fucking expected. Like, they're not very good at this whole PC thing. And
But
they're still not.
Not everyone has a console, so this might be the only way to play it.
Yep, it may very well be.
It's still an alternative.
Yes, it is.
Even if it's a shitty one.
Indeed. Dodgers next on the list with Guppy.
Yeah.
Why?
This game looks very, very simple. You're a little fish, and you're trying to blend in with other groups of fish and hide behind lily pads so that you don't get eaten. But you're trying to eat. Like, you're like leaving so that you can eat. So you're trying to avoid big fish.
Okay.
It just looks cute. I don't know.
Alright.
You have to alternate moving your tail left and right to propel yourself through the water. Hide in the shade of water lilies and venture carefully into the open in search of food, but don't get eaten.
And 2017 truly is the game, the year of games, isn't it? Just incredible. Accurate fish simulation.
Yep.
Next game, also, you found something called Raise the Dead.
This game looks like Slime Rancher, but with zombies.
Yeah, it kind of does.
It's listed as a zombie experimentation game. You're basically like trapping zombies and conducting research on them.
Man, you're not kidding. Yeah, this is
test tubes with zombies in them. And
Gameloft e baza. De unde până unde, bro?
Make, like,
De unde până unde?
potions and things and use them on the zombies and see what happens.
It looks just like Slime Rancher.
Yeah, it's very Slime Rancher looking to me.
Yeah, not quite as good looking, I have to say, but the principle seems similar.
Yeah. And then the last game that I grabbed for this day was called Don't Sink.
Oh, this looks pretty neat.
Yeah, I really like the art style in this one. It says capture islands, sink your ships, defend your towns, and discover an exciting world of adventure. So I think you're like, you're just a little captain, and you just float around from place to place and try to do good shit.
I mean, getting kind of FTL little vibes of it from this and everything.
Yeah.
This seems kind of cool. Yeah, I'd play this.
Who are you, dude?
That's about it on PC. There are a couple of things on console that you might want to keep in mind. The version of Axiom Verge for PS4, Vita, and Switch, Multiverse, is coming out today. We also have, let's see, River City Rival Showdown 3DS, As You Strike a Gunvolt is on the Switch.
Oh my god.
And then, Jesse, you pointed
Fumezi indica și nu e indicat să revin la ce-am fost, trebuie să rămân schimbat.
I definitely recommend everyone check it out. It's a point and click. It essentially is about the post-apocalypse, but the setup is that the disease that's killing everyone, because it's always a disease. The disease that's killing everyone is caused by something, I think it's called the Great Wave or something like that, and literally it allows people to see beyond space and time.
Right.
But they only see that as they're dying. Okay. So it's really trippy and very cool. It's sort of like a meta-narrative. It's awesome. I really recommend it.
All right. A couple of other releases, Apollo Justice for 3DS and the Animal Crossing Suck All Your Money Away game for iOS and Android. That is Pocket Camp.
Hooray!
So if you want to wait 24 hours to build a chair or pay for the privilege of it, that's your game right there. Cry, you also pointed out there is DLC for Final Fantasy 15.
Yes. Monsters of the Deep, the PlayStation VR fishing experience. That I'm so gonna get in on that.
Wow.
I love fishing so much.
The companion stuff dropped as well. That's basically like Final Fantasy 15 Monster Hunter. Sam's been loving that.
Yeah, you play as the Kingsglaive, I believe, and it looks awesome. I've seen character creation. I really want to play that. So hopefully soon.
Moving on to November the 22nd, Dodger, you picked Tartarus.
Tartarus is another one of those games where you're like somebody who's trying to save a spaceship. And it doesn't seem like there's anybody else on the ship. It doesn't look like it's supposed to be a horror game. It looks like it's more of a puzzle game. And the idea of it is that you're actually the ship's cook, but you're the only one who's like out walking around on the ship. And so an engineer makes contact with you and is like, I know that you don't understand at all how this ship works, but like you're the only one who can like
That's
fix
neat.
things, and you have to follow my instructions.
That looks
So
neat.
you have to like follow the instructions of an engineer and try to save the ship, which
Alright.
I think sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
So there's that one. The other one, TV's gonna hate, is called Traddle 64, and it's listing itself as a comedy game stylized like a fever dream. I just love the way that
Mă
those
repet pentru una.
characters are
Trebuie să
designed.
fac rost
The
de iteme, dar
characters
na.
look super
Foarte greu
bizarre
momentan.
to me.
Yeah, you're not kidding about that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Watch Traddle go from 0 to 64.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean? I don't know.
I have no idea.
So
Cry.
there's that game.
The Mammoth, a cave
Yeah.
painting. No, it's like
This is
Jesse.
This is a game where literally you are playing through a cave painting, visually stylized. It looks like it's on the walls of a cave, and you're playing as a mammoth. And it's a very quick game, apparently.
It's free. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a free game. That check it out. I think that's kind of neat.
All right. Moving on to November the 23rd.
Fuck.
Dodger.
Okay, my game on this day is called Going Nowhere: The Dream.
It's another free one.
It's a kind of a platformer game where you play a girl named Lauren, and you're actually like reliving a bunch of her memories as she's trying to remember her best friend that I think went missing when she was younger. So it looks like it could be interesting, but it's sort of a bizarre mixture of art styles, it looks like. So I don't know whether or not it would be kind of off-putting to play, or if it will mesh well when it's actually in practice.
I bet it'll work.
You have faith?
Great. I have faith. This looks great.
Okay. Well, you feel free to believe. Stick It to the Man is coming out on Switch. This was pretty entertaining on PC. Very, very strange. A little bit bizarre. But yeah, that's a good pickup for Switch, I think. Interestingly as well, Portal Knights is hitting Switch. Portal Knights is an MMO, kind of, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. It's sort of a co-op sandbox action RPG MMO-like thingy. Ish.
I figured it's more like a multiplayer, kind of like in the sense of like you can get like a group of friends, but you can't really join random lobbies, right?
I have no idea, but I've heard good things about it as a game. It's been around on PC for a number of years, and people seem to like it. So it might be an interesting pickup on Switch, because they don't really have a game like that on Switch right now, so that's kind of neat. Also, Worms WMD is hitting Switch as well. Might want to keep an eye out for that.
Worms is always a good time.
Worms is generally a good time, as much as they have made the same game for the last 20 fucking years, but hey.
Absolutely.
Moving on to November the 24th. Dodger, you got a couple of choices here.
Fairy Walk, I think, is the first one. Yeah, Fairy Walk, the Prelude. There's a game called the Fairy Walk game that I've actually been interested in, where the concept is like the world is overrun with these really bizarre kind of humanoid monsters.
Yeah.
And there are only a few humans left, and so humans are like desperately trying to find each other, basically. And I guess in this Prelude, you play a little kid who's like trying to get out of its own backyard, but the monsters are all over the place, so it sort of establishes the world. I think it's supposed to be a pretty short game, but I like the look of it. It's got kind of a monochromatic limbo feel, but it's not a side scroller, so I like that the monsters are just kind of like, just have like really bizarrely shaped heads, but for the most part just look like normal people. Like, I don't know, there's just something about it that works for me.
So it's spooky.
It's spooky, but it
appears
doesn't look,
to be spooky.
it doesn't look actually scary, if that makes sense to me.
Kind of like Little Nightmares.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. Little Nightmares had such a good aesthetic, though.
Oh yeah.
Little Nightmares is like, mwah. The other one that I grabbed was Be the Hero. It's a VR game where you get to be a hero and you run around with a sword and stuff. It just looks fun. I actually grabbed it because I loved the video, and then when I looked at the screenshots, I was like, the screenshots honestly don't look as cool as the intro video like animation does, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It might be fun.
So there's a new version of Air Mech. Airmech was pretty cool. This is Airmech Wastelands, which is an action RPG set in alternate future America following a global collapse. You're an Airmech pilot with the skills to fly and upgrade these ultimate pre-war machines. I played quite a lot of Airmech when it first came out, and it was like it was a kind of multiplayer game. This is, well, it's like I said, a bit of action RPG. You collect and build a fleet of Airmechs. You get loot and upgrades, fight these giant tanks and shit. Like, there is potential here. It is, however, the early access version, so it might be worth waiting on that. And there's a couple of board games that are coming out to Steam. First, Burgle Brothers, which is a really cool sort of stealth strategy board game where you're trying to rob banks, and it's pretty complex. It's got some crazy stuff going on with it. And the other one is Paperback, which is it's kind of a deck builder, basically, but you're building a deck of cards with useful combinations of letters to basically come up with words to write your book and score the highest you can. I played a bunch of this on iOS. There's an iOS version of it. It's a good combination of deck building and Scrabble, and I think that you might enjoy that. I don't know how much exactly it's going to cost on PC, but it's pretty cool. It does also have cross-platform multiplayer, so you can play PC versus mobile device, which is nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. You have one last one dodger. What is this?
On the
24th,
oh.
yeah.
Oh, I was looking at the Christmas elf. That one?
Yes, that one.
It's a little Christmas game where you have to save Christmas. It looks like an RPG Maker game.
Oh, yeah.
It just
It
looks
looks
really
absolutely
cute.
fucking terrible.
Trying to save Christmas.
Well,
Okay.
it's probably going to be a free.
Sugi the Christmas elf, save it Christmas every day. Sugi the Christmas elf, save it the Elvish way.
This looks like absolute garbage, but alright, sure.
And then she dabs.
And ruins everything.
Just die. Alright, moving on to November the 25th.
I grabbed a game that could be fucking terrible, but could be interesting.
I mean, that's applied to 90% of the things you've picked so far, but it's
Thank
alright.
you. I did what you asked me to do. I picked games.
You did. You did that.
So this one is called Giuliaro, and it's a game where you start off in a forest. It has a Slenderman sort of goal system where it's like you need to pick up the pieces in order to escape. But you start in a forest that looks totally normal, and then the further along that you get, the more that all of the like the shapes of the trees warp and the colors like turn into like a weird psychedelic scape, and it's harder and harder to navigate around. And I was like, that could be awesome, or it could be so frustrating I want to die.
Absolutely awful, yeah.
That could be a good VR game.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's vomit-inducing.
And then
Good Lord.
the other one that I grabbed is a game that looks like it might be legitimately horrifying, but it might be a good combo of horrifying and, like, intriguing. It's called Unforgiving, a Northern Hymn, and it's a horror game inspired by Swedish folklore.
Yeah. I like the amount of
Looks
detail
cool.
sort of
Whoa,
input to
looks
that
cool
is
so
really
far.
awesome.
Yeah, it looks cool, right?
There's nudity apparently, so be careful about that in case you're worried about that stuff.
In case you're worried about
Not at all worried.
Yeah.
Put little Jesse heads over them.
Quality presentation in this game looks much, much better than a lot of these short horror vignette first-person experience games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you actually see other people animated in the game, unlike every other horror indie game I see.
Well, because they just want to buy a bunch of dark Unity assets that they don't really have to do anything with. Yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Last one I've got on the list is on November 27th. There's a pretty long-running series of strategy games called Dominions. Dominions 5 is hitting on the 27th, which is, let's just say, aesthetically, graphically, not very advanced. Strategically, these are really fucking deep 4X strategy games. They're the kind of games you could play for years. They're
I like
ludicrous.
the aesthetic of like the 3D world with the 2D sprites though.
Yeah, I mean the game has over 3,000 types of units in it. Like it's ridiculous.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's
but
it's
I mean, I
a
appreciate the aesthetic.
it's a hardcore 4X to say the least. So you know when your trailer is just a list of we have 500 spells, 300 unit perks, 3,000 unit types. Like fuck me. But I can definitely see why people would be into that. That's the kind of game you could just play forever. So, yeah, Dominion's 5. And that is pretty much it on the release list that we've seen.
What the fuck is...
Probably missed a few things, but...
For a while. But I just want you guys to know, in case you didn't know, because we were talking about Aloy earlier. Aloy is going to be a playable character in Monster Hunter
I'm very aware. It's like a new Horizon game. I don't need to play nothing else. I want to play with Aloy all day, every day.
Great. I just wanted
Best
you to
girl.
know that. Okay, I'm glad you know.
Well, there you go. Pretty much wraps the show, folks, but we'd like to let you know what's coming. And, of course, remind you, the stream is not ending here. We'll be taking a break. And we'll be coming back with some Jackbox Party Pack 2 action. Cry, I believe, is going to be hanging around for that. I think Krendor said he'd be there. As to whether or not he actually shows up, that's a different matter entirely. Mathis and others will be hanging around for that, because it's currently on sale on our partner website, chrono.gg/TB. So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to a little bit of Jackbox. Jackbox 2 is my favorite. I think that's the best one out of all of them. So,
which one's that one?
That's the one with Quiplash, Fibbage.
It's got Monster
Idiots.
Seeking Monster in it.
No, it doesn't.
No, that's
number
4.
That's 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
The 4 is, I like 4 personally.
She's done. She's gone.
Yeah.
She's gonna go. She's looking at the cameras right now.
Yep. She's
Now I'm
watching
looking at the
for
cameras.
murder. So that's gonna be happening right
Sam's on
after
the iPad. My mom's watching
this.
TV.
But of course, there are other things going on. Jesse, what you got going on this week? What's going on?
Yo, more of that Star Wars everyone loves to hate on, and we're gonna have more Scary Game Squad, and also a whole bunch of other stuff. Plus, I think tomorrow morning, bright and early, is going to be the Total War video if you're interested in how I probably screwed that up, and you guys know way more than me. So be sure to let me know how badly I did.
I'm sure the Total War subreddit will be really, really kind to you about how you played the game. Because they're very known for being super accepting of people that don't play the game perfectly. Trust me. They're lovely people. Lovely!
To find out. I'm so excited.
The literal polar opposite of the Civ subreddit. It's just chill. Cool. That's that. Dodger, what you got coming up this week?
So I'm in Oregon this week, so my stream schedule is kind of bookworked. But I think the next couple of days we're going to be doing like an early 9 a.m. sort of a stream. I'm going to try mobile streaming for the first time, assuming that it's not raining too hard, probably on Thanksgiving morning. And yeah, if you watched Shoutcraft and you were like, man, I would love coffee with a toenail in it, but you just didn't take the time to go look at the website, hey, go check out DodgerCoffeeCo.com. We would really appreciate it if you would. And
I put a very small amount of your cold brew into my Starbucks crap Frappuccino coffee every morning, just to give it it's a little bit extra, just a little extra. I can't handle the strength of the cold brew.
I love imagining you going to Starbucks, getting a drink, coming home.
No, I mean I just buy it from the store. But... yeah, just a little bit extra kick.
Look, whatever works, whatever tastes delicious to you.
It tastes better than drinking the stuff on its own, where it just melts my tongue, and it's like, oh god, I can't handle coffee. I can't. I'm not a coffee person. Can't do it.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm mostly going to be spending a lot of time with my family and stuff. So, you know.
Slacking.
You know, but yeah. I'll be back next week, and we'll be back to normal.
Far enough. Well, Cry, thank you very much for coming on the show today. Much appreciated. Of course, you're going to be hanging around for a little bit of Jackie after this. A little bit of Jackbox. But what's your streaming plans for the rest of the week?
Alright, so a good interpretation of what to expect from my channel is...
I think he left.
He made a joke about how there's gonna be nothing on his channel at all.
Probably true.
That was the joke. Hope you appreciate it.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Well done.
Pretty much it, though.
It would have been better if you just left.
Excellent
if you
visual
just straight
gag.
up left for good.
I would have, but I miss
Commitment,
I don't know if the gag is better.
To the bit.
I miss you guys. I'm sorry, okay? Gee.
I don't know if the gag is better without the camera or with the, you know, if it would have been better with the camera. I don't know. I think
it was like listening to a radio play. He like had the like.
Yeah, it was a nice exaggerated nose. Good, yeah.
Oh yeah, the whole thing going is great.
That we had Cry on the podcast, and he said, I don't know, Google Cry, I'm the first thing that comes up. And I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And I Googled Cry, and you were the first thing that came up, and I just quit living, and now I'm a ghost.
I don't think it is anymore, but, you know, it used to be, which is kind of cool.
Cry? I'm gonna Google Cry.
These days, I don't think it is, though.
Yeah.
What does Cry look like? Yep, there it is.
There it is.
It's one of the first things.
Indeed. All right, folks, thank you very much for watching the Corruptional Podcast. We'll be back the same time next week at 3 p.m. Eastern. That is 8 p.m. in the British Isles, 9 p.m. in Europe for more of the Corruptional Podcast. Jackbox Party Pack 2 coming up in probably about 10 minutes. Going to get everything set up and do a little bit of quiplash, a little bit of fibbage and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye. I don't know what that means.
Real and nothing is real?
Everything is real and nothing is real. We just don't know anymore.
I don't.
So confused.
What? I don't get it.
You're not real, Jesse.
That's okay. It's okay if you don't get it.
Technically, according to philosophy, the only thing that's real is yourself. Everything else
is true.
Of your mind. So I could be fake, or all of you could be fake.
It's true. Literally, the only thing that we can confirm is real is that we can perceive a world, whether it's actually there or not.
Yeah, this thing right here, this microphone could be a weird space tentacle, but my reality only sees it as a microphone.
That's true.
All I know, man. You don't even know, man. Space butterflies, man. You don't even know.
It's always space with you, Jesse.
Okay,
whatever that means. And coffee. And coffee. There you go.
It's all chemical signals in your brain. And do you trust chemical signals in your brain to tell you that they're chemical signals in your brain?
The only thing you know is that your brain exists. Everything else about you, man, is just.
But do we know that?
Yourself.
Do we know that? For sure, though.
Well, I know that I exist. You're probably all figments of my crazy imagination.
We're not really here, Jesse.
Yeah,
we're just
hashtag
figments
the
of your
Matrix.
imagination. Yeah, there you go.
Remember when that movie was profound and awesome and not a trilogy of shit?
Yes.
I found out that there are so many people who have never seen The Matrix, and that blows my mind.
What?
Yeah, because Sam tweeted out saying, what's a movie that you're ashamed to tell people that you've never seen? A lot of people that we know were like, never seen The Matrix. And I was like, what?
Sure.
Blew my mind.
Still holds up, incidentally. What should recently still holds up. Not like Jurassic Park.
I love all three. Just the descent into garbage is so good.
I will say, while the second and third one are not as profoundly mind-blowing as the first one, right? And you expected, after the second one ended, I was like, man, the third one's gonna blow my dick off. I can't wait.
Yep.
No, it was just an action movie. But
oh my god, and those CG scenes are so bad now.
They're awful.
The second half of the second movie is straight up fun. I don't care what anyone says. That car chase, the twins, that's a ton of fun. That is a great scene.
Yeah, some fun, cool characters and shit in that only really got expanded in the MMO. Like the whole fact that the Merovingian was an entire fucking faction in that game, and they were supposed to expand all the lore surrounding him and why exactly he, myths are real. They're like old programs that still stuck around, and why does this person have all this information, and who is he working for, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, the second one was the action blockbuster. The first one was a surprise hit. The third one was Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
that's basically how it went.
The biggest problem I have is looking back, I feel like the Matrix movies became kind of what World of Warcraft is, where there's so many characters and so many things going on. They're like, well, we want to tell a story. We're not going to address 90% of the things that we created in the first two movies.
Yeah. I'm cool with that, though. I'm cool with those just being like things that exist in the world, and like there isn't needless exposition about them. They just show up when they're needed. I'm cool with that.
Isn't that part of the Dark Souls appeal? Is the ambiguous storytelling about the lore that is there, but they don't really mention about?
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and I think that there was probably, well, there was certainly at the time, an awful lot of that going on with the Matrix as well. Yeah, when it comes to fan theories and things like that. And the Animatrix only, threw a lot more spanners in the works on that one.
The theory crafting of the Matrix is what made it so much fun for the first 2 movies. I was like, the theories that my favorite theory was that it was all fake, like there was another level.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was a good theory because it explained all the bullshit that Neo could actually do outside of the Matrix, but then...
It makes sense, and people were like, it's not real because he's in the Matrix.
Yeah, he's still in the Matrix, yeah. And also, Bender said at best, well, instead of using human beings as a battery, why couldn't the machines just get, a battery? Because the human body doesn't produce that much power.
Yeah, it's vastly inefficient. But yeah. It was
you see how many people they had? There were a lot of people.
There's like a billion.
Yeah, but you put more energy in than you get out. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
None of that movie makes sense.
That's fine.
Doesn't matter. It's awesome.
That's fine.
TV, I'm so glad that you mentioned Animatrix, though. I just found out, I can't remember the name of it, but I just found out that there's a version of the Animatrix, but for Batman, where they went to like a bunch of different anime studios and they all did like little Batman shorts as well.
I did not know that.
Somebody in chat knows. But apparently it's super, super cool the way the Animatrix was, where it's like lots of different really cool styles and just like snippets of Batman stories.
It's super cool, yeah.
Do you remember what it's called, Jesse?
No, but I remember that it came out simultaneously with the release of a game. And I don't remember if it was Arkham Asylum or it came out like in conjunction with some shit. And it was super cool. I remember it because people were freaking out.
Gotham Knight is what it's called. Batman Gotham Knight.
They were like, animate Batman. And so, yeah, that was all over the internet for a while. I know Kotaku did like 5 million articles on it. It's like, oh my lord. Yeah, so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down because otherwise I'll forget.
You should watch it. I think you'd love it. It's very Kevin Conroy's in it. So it's it's Batman. It's Batman, just they made it.
Yeah. Did you end up watching the Castlevania Netflix series, Jesse?
I think all of us did. It is the dopeness.
It's really good. Really
Can
good.
I be real with you? Once I realized, okay, it's only 4 episodes, and I realized what they were doing plot-wise, I was like, I'm ready for this to be a short story that is an introduction to season 2. God damn them for that last episode. I was like,
yeah, because finally we get the tie-in with the video games, because really it was just Dracula, like until
Castlevania 3. It's straight up just Castlevania.
Yeah.
I was like,
it is.
I know this. Yeah, the minute they were just like,
even when
character, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, if
the last episode was the best episode.
For anyone who hasn't watched it yet, do not watch the first episode with closed captions on, because they straight up